Mm-hmm.
Are you ready, Charlotte?
Okay, I'm ready. Good morning, everyone. Okay, can you see my screen okay?
Well, we see you. If you're if you're sharing, we can't see your screen yet. Bear with us, folks. Everything works prior to the start. Then when we start, that's when all the technical glitches start to happen. Okay, now we see your PowerPoint.
Okay,
Oh, okay.
awesome. Okay, I think we're ready. How about now? Is everyone good? Can you see it?
Ma'am.
Yes,
All
ma'am.
right. All right. Good morning. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Central Texas College and our new student orientation for spring 2022. Gosh, that was a tongue twister. Yay! Okay, we're ready to get started. Um, Thank you again and welcome to our spring 2022 new student orientation. Um, we're very happy to have you here this morning. Um, but before we get started, I want to introduce you to a few important uh, people that we have here on campus. First of all, we have our Chancellor, Mr. Jim Yiannopoulos. Mr. Yiannopoulos, are you ready?
I did not see him enter the room.
No,
So.
I don't see him logged in, but
Okay.
If he logs in late, we'll notify and let you know. We'll go on to the next.
Okay. Okay. Well, we'll keep moving. So next we're going to introduce and welcome our our Deputy Chancellor of Academic Student Services, Dr. Robin Garrett. Good morning, Dr. Garrett.
Good morning, everyone. My goodness, thank you for having me. On behalf of the Chancellor, and who I guess couldn't be here, I'm not sure, but and the rest of the executive team, I welcome all of you, all of you students. So pleased that you chose Central Texas College.
We're having audio problems, Dr. Garrett. It's kind of fuzzy. I don't know what happened.
It sounds like maybe somebody else has their mic on or
That
something.
might be. If most people could mute your mics right now, that would be great. And that way we can kind of figure out where the issue lies. And great. Okay, go ahead and proceed, Dr. Garrett. And if it comes up again, we'll try and mute again.
Sure thing, sure thing. Hey, you know, this is what happens, right?
Right.
Anyway,
Anytime you go live.
that's right. That's right. Well, we're just so pleased that you all chose Central Texas College to continue your education. And as my title says, the Deputy Chancellor of Academic and Student Success, we're all about your success. We are here to support you. We have an amazing group of faculty and staff that are here to help you
Yes,
along
Dr.
the
Garrett.
way and ensure that you meet your goals. So thank you so much for being here. This orientation will kick off your learning in a positive way and give you all the tools that you may remember, or you may not. You'll have to come back and ask, but that's what we're here for, to keep you going and kick off your educational goals. So thank you again, and whatever we can do, please reach out. Don't be afraid. Take care and stay safe.
Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Garrett.
Go back now. I need to introduce Julie.
And Charlotte, your mic is acting a little funny there.
Okay. How about now? Can you hear me?
Much better, much better.
Okay. All right. Our next person that we'd like to welcome and introduce is the Dean of Student Success and Persistence, and this is Julie Starkey. Good morning, Julie.
good morning. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. Okay. My name is Julie Starkey, and I'm the Dean for Student Success and Persistence. And I am so excited that you're here. This is truly your first step towards success, is participating in this event and getting all of the great information that you're going to get today. But probably one of the things that I'm most excited about is you're going to meet several faculty and staff members that are going to help guide you through your entire journey. So take their names down, remember who they are, send them an email after this, touch base, because really what we want you to understand is we want you to ask your question today and going forward. We want you asking your questions. We want to be helpful to you. This new student orientation, it's gonna go a couple of hours. The first part of it is really academic and faculty driven, and you're going to get a lot of information from them. And so we really want you there and participating and doing that. I encourage you all through the event to, like I said, ask your questions, type them in the chat, pay attention to the chat, because we have people monitoring that, and it's going to get back. We're going to send you great links, phone numbers, contact information. It's going to be unbelievable, the information that you get. So I want you to be aware of that. The final thing is, in my title is success. So I want you to be successful. And one of the most important things that I want you to know is I am located in the academic studio. For those that are local, it's right across from the Anderson Campus Center. Walk through that door. It's where we do a lot of our tutoring. If I can ever help you, if I can ever help guide you, answer a question, please come see me. Send me an email. I'm going to post it in a minute after I finish presenting in the chat so that you guys have it. And so I want you to know who I am, but I would be remiss if I didn't give you a couple of success tips. The faculty are going to do this way better than I do in a few minutes, but I do want to give you a couple of things. Number one, I want you to go to class every single day. If you're in a face-to-face, if you're in an online or an SBL, and they're going to explain what all those differences are, you got to log in very regularly, 3, 4, 5 times a week. And you think I'm exaggerating, I'm not exaggerating. So I need you to take this seriously and make your coursework a priority. Number two, to start off, I need you to get in this mindset that you're going to turn everything in that's on that syllabus. And your faculty here in just a minute, they're going to explain to you the syllabus and how important that is. But when the faculty say, hey, turn this one assignment in, and if you miss that assignment, not necessarily you're going to get an opportunity to redo it again. So pay attention to every single thing on that syllabus and turn every single thing in. The number one thing that we know gets students in trouble is missing work. So please make a commitment right now just to do everything. The next thing is talk to your instructors. They are your number one resource. If you don't get anything out of today's presentation, orientation of it, other than the importance of our faculty and you developing a relationship with those faculty, we haven't done our job here today. I want you to understand the importance of your faculty going forward. So get to know them, ask them questions, and they're going to talk about how you do that in a minute. The next thing, you're going to learn today a lot about resources and everything that's available for you today. And you're going to be overwhelmed by the number of resources that we have for you. I want you to use those resources day one. I don't want you to wait until, 2 weeks into the semester, 5 weeks into the semester. I want you to use these resources, whether it be the library, whether it be career service, whether it be going to financial aid because you have an issue. You're going to touch base with academic advising, tutoring, whatever it is, day one. I want you to commit to using your resources that we are going to talk about endlessly today, starting day one. We're also going to send you a resource list, and you're going to get all of this information. So just commit to using those from the get-go. And the other thing, I want you to have fun. I want you to commit to this experience, but I want you to have fun. I want you to make connections. I want you to get engaged with us. Have fun. Have a great day. Ask your questions today. That's what we're here for. We have a ton of people. Ask your questions. Okay. I don't want anybody to sit there and not get involved with us today. Ask your question. I'm going to turn it back over to you, Charlotte. Wait, you're on mute.
There we go. Thank you, Julie. Okay, next, as we get started, again, students, if you have any questions, please submit them to the chat. But our next presenter that we have is Mr. Matt Lyles, and Mr. Lyles is going to be presenting on our Eagle Mail video. So this is important information for students to know as you learn to communicate with your instructors. Mr. Lyles is going to give you some instructions and why it's important to utilize that Eagle Mail. Matt, good morning.
Morning, how are you? I think Bruce is going to show a quick video, and then once we got that going, then I'll go ahead and keep talking about Eagle Mail. So Eagle Mail is going to be your email at Central Texas College here, but we got a video for you to see here. So hang on just a second while we get that up.
Okay, I'm gonna start sharing here. Let me know if there's any issues. Everybody can see the screen?
Yes.
All right, let's see what we got here.
I don't hear any sound.
Okay, hang on. Let me see if I can figure out the volume real quick. I apologize. It's always something with the video.
Yeah, it's always something.
Okay, let's see. This any better? No. Okay. All right, let's figure out what we got here. Okay, I'm having all kinds of issues with my audio here on.
Let's just talk it through here. It's okay.
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 Yeah, that would
It's
be
no
better. I
big
can
deal.
send- Okay.
So
Sorry
as
about
a
that. My
student
apologies.
it is no worries here. Morning, folks. My name is Matt Lyles. I teach in the math department. As a member of the faculty, I just wanted to start near the very beginning of your experience to stress the importance of email. Especially, we've had some exciting learning curves in the last 2 years, learning that how important communication is. But even when there's not a pandemic, it is crucial to be able to communicate between you and your professor. Your professor will push information at you in a couple of different ways, and one of those is email. So if something ever happens, so at this point, we've learned how we can pivot if we have to switch from an in-person class to a live stream class or whatever, and things can change very quickly as we've learned. And the way that we get that information to you, the fastest way is email. The way I like to say it is if you have an email address, if you have a job and you get an email address with your job, if you're not checking your email, you're going to be missing important information for your job. Think of your experience as a student in a similar way here, that you need to be checking and interacting with the email so that you can, it's a quick way for you to ask your professor a question at any time of day. As a professor, I can say, I go to bed earlier than most of my students. And so if you have a question at 2 a.m. and you want to ask me a question, send me an email. I don't care if you email me at 2 a.m. I'm asleep. My phone's on mute. No worries. Send it when you have it so you don't forget to ask the question. The only bad question is the one you don't ask. I'm going to say that again because it's really important. The only bad question is the one you don't ask. All right. So be checking your email. Please feel free to communicate with your instructors, your professors. I would also say this, if you don't like checking the student one, you can set it up to forward to whatever your other personal email is. So you can make it convenient for yourself, but make sure that you take care of it. You'll be getting information. I am not the right person to tell you where that information comes from. How do they find out their email address? I don't know the answer to that question. Does anybody know that one?
I'm going to put in the chat the link to the Eagle Mail webpage, and that should contain all the information they need as far as who to contact and how to reset the password and all and those kind of things. So there is the link in the chat regarding
Fantastic. Thank you.
email.
Thank you, Bruce. All
Sure.
right, folks. So, yeah, the moral of the story here, please check your email. As a statement of kind of propriety, when you're getting a little further on here, I've had students in the past, they've had some email addresses when they were younger people, and some of us faculty aren't as familiar with some of the cultural references and games and different things that people play. I remember the first time I got an email from an email address that says something like, I don't know, Final Fantasy something something, and it freaked me out. I'm like, I'm not touching that no matter what. It turns out that that's the name of a game, and I had no idea. But the moral of the story here is make it something that's a little something to do with your name or that's not remotely confusing to who you might be. You want it to represent who you are in a way that people can understand and go, oh, I definitely need to be reading this. So, but yeah, make sure you're checking your Eagle Mail. It is an
Right.
important way for us to communicate, not just from the professors, but from financial aid, from student success, from all kinds of different places that you'll be receiving information. Check it. Please feel free to communicate with any of us at any time. We are here to help you. We want to see you succeed.
Just a couple other tidbits on the Eagle Mail. Eagle Mail is also how we as the marketing department keep in touch with you and send you student alerts, student emails about all the campus news, events, and activities, and any other policy changes or any updates that have to come along that pertain to you as students. We send them through your Eagle Mail. Also, if you are brand spanking new to CTC, you will not receive an Eagle Mail till about 10 days into the semester. Okay, so that's one thing to keep important, especially if you're applying for a scholarship through our CTC Foundation, which is going to open this weekend. The online application will open this weekend. It will ask you for a student email address. That won't be available to you if you're brand spanking new until couple weeks into the semester. So please keep that in mind, that if you're wondering, where's my Eagle Mail, how do I get that? It will be available. We had some issues with somebody hacking our email system last year, and that kind of prompted us to kind of change the way we issue those out to kind of eliminate that issue. So anyway, so don't be scared if you don't get your email like right away after registering for classes. It'll take about 10 days and then you'll get that. And again, as Matt said, I can't reiterate that enough. That is the way our professors keep in touch with you. That is the way they send you updates, class information, any changes to class policies, any changes to the syllabus, any changes to test dates. They will do it through Eagle Mail, and you don't want to miss
That's
that.
correct, Bruce. And it's also the way other departments communicate with students as well. So
Right.
that access to that Eagle Mail is very important. Okay.
Hey, can I just tell new students that sometimes we have an issue since you're not getting your email until 10 days into the semester, and I know that can be kind of stressful, and you may be worried, well, how am I going to get all this stuff that you guys keep telling us about in the first 10 days? Do not freak out, because our internal processes, we are using the email that you provided us initially in all of those communications. So you're still going to get stuff from us. And then once your Eagle Mail gets established, it all switches and that becomes your primary email with us. So I don't want anybody to think in this window that you're not going to get all this information from us, because you still are. It's going to go to the email that you used when you applied, and then it's going to switch to your Eagle Mail. Okay.
So
If
hopefully
I
that
could say-
answers your question, Amber.
If I can say one more thing, I don't want to steal Dr. Reese's thunder here, but there'll be another way to communicate with your instructors directly as well that you'll have access to, I think probably tomorrow, which is going to be Blackboard. I'll leave that to Dr. Reese to talk about, but that's another way that you can have kind of a stopgap way as you wait for your Eagle Mail to go live.
Definitely.
Awesome. And with
So,
that being said, Mr. Lyles, I think we're just about ready for Dr. Reese.
so I got a quick question.
Okay.
Yes.
So whenever we get the Eagle Mail, is it going to be like emailed to the regular email, and that's how we'll?
It'll be a separate email account that the instructors will use, but you can sync it to, let's say your, let's see, you can
Well-
say, if your email is ktownsend@gmail.com, for instance, you can sync that Gmail account to your Eagle Mail. That way you only have to check one email account, and it'll funnel everything that we send you through Eagle Mail to your Gmail. So.
Oh, well, because I'm brand new, so I don't know how that would work. Like,
Okay. So
You'll get assigned an email address, and again, there's instruction on how to sync that to your basic email, whatever email that you're using, whether it be Yahoo, Gmail, or whatever, and you can sync that so it all goes into one email account. And that way you don't have to check your Eagle Mail, you don't have to check your Gmail, you don't have to check your Yahoo, you only have to check
Well-
one email.
well, I meant for the Eagle Mail, since I don't have one yet. When would I know it's available?
It's going to be on the 10th class day. So probably it'll be 2 weeks into class. So class starts Tuesday. 10 days from that is when you're going to get your email. and you will be notified that happens, and so you're going to know about it. Faculty are going to be making announcements. They're going to let you know that email is available and this is how this works. You're going to get information from IT. You're also going to get information from student success and persistence about this. So we are not going to leave you hanging. We're going to make sure you get it. Bruce, would you mind, did you post the, since we weren't able to show the email video in the chat, would you do that?
Oh.
Because I do encourage all of you, if you'll
See it.
want, if you'll copy that and check it out, you're going to feel a lot better about your about your Eagle Mail, how to set it up, how it works, all these things that Bruce is talking about switching it to your different accounts. That is all answered in that video. And so we're going to post that since we weren't able to show it, and we do apologize, everybody.
Yeah, I do apologize. I
Okay,
just put the
thank
link
you.
for the second time in the chat there. So if you'll copy and paste that chat, it'll take you to the Eagle Mail page where the video is smack dab in the middle. You just click play and it'll explain everything. And there's also some paragraphs in there that will walk you through some contact information if you have other questions on, again, how to set your password and those kind of things. So, but all of that is explained in the video. So please use that link and copy that link that I just posted.
Absolutely. Now, I think after you hear the Blackboard presentation, I think a lot of things are going to start to make sense for you. So everything is just going to start coming together. But again, follow those links that Bruce is attaching to the chat.
Before we go on, was there somebody else about to ask a question? I thought I heard.
I was going to just say something else to Kristen there briefly. So
Go ahead.
Kristen, you're going to have a CTC email address. And then if you have other personal email addresses, that's cool too. And what we're saying is that you can sync them. There's a setting in the Eagle Mail where you can have any message that's sent to your Eagle Mail, you can have it forwarded to a different email address if that's something you want to do, so that you're only checking one place. You don't have to do that. You can keep them separate, or you can have one forward to that so that they all go to the same place. You get to choose, but you'll have an email address with us, and you can either check it on there's a link on the website where you can go to check your Eagle Mail, or you can click on the setup in there, and the directions are on that link that they put in the chat, where you can say, I don't want to have to check two different places if I have a different email. I'll go ahead and have this one forward to my regular personal email so that they're all going to the same place. Me personally, I like to keep them separate, so I have work in one place and I have personal stuff in a separate place, but you get to organize your own. But so you'll have an email address with us and then whatever you have separately. Does that make sense?
All right. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Okay, Matt, we need to get moving. We need to get back on schedule if we can. Dr. Reese, are you ready?
I'm ready. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Good morning.
Good
Okay,
morning. And good
students,
morning. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, I was just going to introduce you, but no worries. Students, next we have Dr. Angela Reese, and she's going to give a detailed presentation on our Blackboard overview. So hopefully, once you hear this presentation, a lot of things that we've just said will start to connect. So Dr. Reese.
Thank you so much. Good morning, Eagles. I am so excited to get to present to you today. Those of you who are thinking, I don't even know what Blackboard is, I don't know what that word is, no fear. We are going to go over what Blackboard is, just a quick introduction to it. And one thing to tell you in advance, Blackboard is basically our learning management system, or our virtual classroom, if you will. So if you are taking an online class, you will be familiar with this really quickly, and you will be all hands on deck just as soon as you can. As Professor Lyles said, we do typically grant access to this on Fridays. Every once in a while, you have a little bit earlier, and I do see that students are able to get into their classes on Thursdays, but typically it's Friday around noon that those courses are opened up and that you're able to get into them. So how do you get into it? Well, let me show you. There are many different ways to get there, but in my opinion, just one of the quickest ways to get there if you're brand new is going to our homepage, which is ctcd.edu. Once you're here, there's so much information, and I'm going to try not to make you dizzy by going all the way down to the bottom of the page, but these are just our quick links down here at the bottom. And one of those quick links that you will see is the Blackboard. So again, Blackboard is how you access your courses. Once you click on Blackboard, you will be brought to the login screen, and here's the login screen. So your username is going to be a lowercase c and then your student ID number. Your password is going to be your date of birth, month, day, year. So if you were born today, it would be 011322. And if you're thinking, well, I don't know that I'm going to remember that by the time I get off of this and all the other information that I'm going to be receiving this morning, do not fear. Down here, you can click on See Blackboard Login Instructions. And if you don't know your student ID, you can actually look it up right here. So great information for you to get started. And also, if you're just completely overwhelmed, you have this Blackboard support number right here that you can call at any time, whether that's now or in the future, to help you get started. One thing that I will reiterate, and I believe every single person so far that has presented has said this, but we really want to make sure it sticks. If you have a question, ask it. Okay, so if you can't get into Blackboard, you need to call tech support and say, I'm having trouble. Can you please help me? And they are absolutely wonderful. So once we get logged into Blackboard, this, of course, is my view. I am a faculty member in the business administration department. So yours is going to look a little bit different than what mine looks. Obviously, you will not have faculty resources, but somewhere on your page, you will see this My Courses. And as I scroll down, you can see all of the courses in which I am teaching right now. So I can click on any one of them. I'm actually going to click on my lecture course so you can see what this looks like. So give it just a second for me to get into it and to turn it on to student view. So once we get in, this is what you're going to see. Again, this is the login page, the home page, at least for all of my classes. It goes directly to the announcements. So anytime that your instructor has something that they might want to share with you, it could be also listed on the announcements and in a couple other places that I'm going to make you familiar with today. One thing to keep in mind is that we try to keep our Blackboard courses fairly uniformed throughout all departments, but just note that each department will do things a little bit differently, and each instructor might have some tweaks. So I'm going to show you some general places that are going to be important for any of the Blackboard courses. And I do see some questions popping up, and I'm going to wait till the end to answer some of those, just in case some of them might get answered while I'm speaking. So keep putting those questions in, and Professor Lyles and everyone else can help maybe answer some of those in the chat. So you see here, Start Here. Start Here is if you're new to Blackboard, you're able to just go over some resources for you. How do you get familiar? What do these different things mean? What are the messages? This is how you can just kind of get familiar with Blackboard. So read over that since you are all brand new. The second thing that I want to show you is Biosig Id Enrollment. Now this Biosig Id Enrollment, I know we're throwing a lot of new things at you, but again, don't fear. This is going to be in your class. You're going to be able to read it at your leisure. One thing that we do in our online classes is we have a biometric signature ID that helps authenticate who you are. So the first time you go through this process, you can watch the enrollment video. And then once you watch it, read over all of this information about it. It's really self-explanatory. And then you're able to actually enroll with Biosig. What that basically is going to be a 4-digit passcode, if you will. Mine is 3 lowercase L's and 1 capital L. You're welcome to use that or think of your own. You just don't want it to be too crazy that you can't replicate what you're doing. And I'm going to show you what this looks like in just a second as well, so don't worry about that. So you do this one time, you get started, and then you do not have to create it again. You just have to remember what your password is so that you can use it whenever an instructor asks for it. Further down, you can see messages. These messages are how you can communicate with people in your class as well as your instructor. So if you don't have access to your Eagle Mail, which you will not for about 2 weeks, you can send a message to your instructor here. I'm not going to go into it because I don't want to show the students that are enrolled in my class right now, but you would click on that and you'd be able to send a message. Here you can see instructor info, so you're able to see when your instructor's office hours are, where they're located, how to get a hold of them, their supervisor. Again, our email addresses are listed here. So if you don't have access to Eagle Mail and you want to email us, you can find our email there. All of this that I just showed you is basic information that is going to be in each of your classes, as well as the next 3 areas. These are critical to you. So if you think, well, what's the most important thing that I need to know today? It's that you need to read the syllabus. The syllabus is basically going to be your roadmap for success in the course. It's going to give you all of the information that you need. So here on all of our courses, you will have a course introduction so that you can see what is ahead of you. You will see your course materials listed here. So for example, the book for this class is free. So all you have to do is click on this right here and it would take you directly to our book. Extensions, that is a college policy in case something happens to you and you are ill or have some type of extenuating circumstance. And then further down, a lot of our classes have frequently asked questions for you to review. One thing I want to point out is at the beginning of syllabus page 1, there's a new student orientation here that is for Blackboard specifically. You can click on this link and then you can watch, I believe it's about 30 minutes, but it's been a while since I've personally watched it, but you can go out and learn more about Blackboard there as well. So this is basic information about the course itself. This one, page 2, is specific to the course that you have with your instructor. So for example, my course is a lecture course that I'm showing you. It shows when the course begins and ends and when we're meeting. This is extremely important for you to double check. When you go in, and some of you probably already registered for classes and many of you might not have yet. When you are searching for classes, you want to make sure that that you're paying attention to the start and end date. You'll see here and in all of your classes that it will show you the start and the end date as well as the type of class it is. So mine is a lecture course. If it were an online class, it would say this is an online class. With online, it might be one that is self-paced, meaning that I can do the work whenever I feel like it, as long as the work is completed by the last day of class. Of course, we don't suggest that. We suggest staying on with those due dates. It will also tell us if you, or it would tell us if we were having a class that had specific due dates. So again, this tells you when the course begins, when it ends, and what type of class it is. Further down, you will see assignments and course schedule. So this is where you will see all of the lessons that are assigned for the course along with the due dates. And I'm going to keep scrolling down further to exam information, how your course grade is calculated, and then also general information about our course contract. So these 2 pages is where you can find everything that you need to know about your class. Again, if you have a question you want to ask. One other area that I want to show you, and the rest will be basically a little bit different from instructor to instructor, but we have our lessons here. And when I click on lessons, this is where, think back just a few minutes ago, and I talked about that Biosig enrollment. So once you create it, from time to time, you will see this pop up, a verification. So a verification is basically asking me to show who I am, to prove that I am not a robot, to prove that I am not part of some cheating scandal, so that it tracks basically that you are the authenticated user that has signed up for the class. So I already told you my password, 3 lowercase L's and a capital L. You can use mine if you want. I'm going to hit validate. And once I validate, now all of a sudden, all of my lessons are released. And I'm able to go in, check out my lessons, and make sure that I know exactly what I'm supposed to be doing for this class. One other thing that I typically don't show that I am going to show this morning is that a part of Biosig, we have a new way to help us ensure that our students are who they say they are when they're testing. So we have what we call Biosite Id, and basically what it is going to do, it is going to ask you to make sure that you have a web camera in order to take your exams. Now, don't stress out. Some of you probably already thinking, well, I don't have a web camera. I have an older computer that doesn't have that, or mine's broken. Not to fear, you are able to use your cell phone as well in order to make sure that that process works. So when you go into your exams, please note that you are going to have to do that for the majority of your classes. And mine, I apologize, mine are hidden right now. I forgot that my exams aren't open because it is a lecture course. But from here, give me just a second to get out of the student preview so you can see what I'm seeing. All right, so here, once my exams are available, then I would just click on exam and it would go through the process in order for me to show that my camera is working. I have personally done this and sat through an entire exam. It is nothing that is stressful. Your image is going to be blurred. They can't see, or basically the system that is monitoring is not recording necessarily all the features of you, just that you are a real person taking the exam. It will see if a second person comes in and sits by you, those types of things. So as long as you are doing things according to our policies, then you will be just fine. So if this was not enough, if you're still thinking, wow, this is not enough, I need to know more about my classes, I'm not really sure exactly what I'm supposed to be doing or what Blackboard looks like, we do have a recorded version of going into Blackboard. I believe it's about 45 minutes in length. Bruce, can you help guide me on where that is on our website?
I'm sorry, I was answering a question.
Oh,
What
that's
are you looking
okay.
for? What are you looking for?
What was your question?
The Blackboard orientation that we recorded a while back.
Oh, okay, yeah, that will be on YouTube, on our YouTube site. You can probably Central Texas College Blackboard, or you can go to our homepage. Can I share my screen real quick?
Yes,
And I
sir.
can walk you through to do that. All right. And no audio required on this one, folks. So, all right, we'll go to home here and go to About CTC, then scroll under CTC Connect to News. Click on News, and this is where we keep all of our press releases and information about what's going on in CTC. You'll see the events calendar. This is where we have all the upcoming events for the month. And if you'll click down here to CTC Live, it was a CTC Live presentation. You'll see a bunch of previous sessions that we did just like this on veteran services, financial aid, transfer tips, and so forth. And the Blackboard, using Blackboard, is right here. And it's a video that Dr. Reese did, and it'll explain in further detail everything that she's going on right now. So that's how you find that. So,
Thank you so much. And I
you're
just
very welcome. And
a
let me
few
stop sharing so you can get back to yours.
Okay, I just wanted to answer a few questions that I did see come in that I don't think are answered. And in case you didn't see the answer, you can't see your courses yet. The earliest you would see them is maybe later this afternoon, but typically they don't show up until Friday. So anything that you've registered for, you will not see there until Friday. Another question I saw come in is, if I'm taking a lecture course, do I have to use Blackboard? Well, that depends. So most of our faculty do utilize Blackboard in some capacity, whether it might just be to show you what your lessons are or to take your exams. Again, that's up to the individual faculty member. I can tell you, if you're in a business class, that you'll be using Blackboard, whether it is a lecture or it is an online class. And did I miss any other questions that came in that weren't answered?
Yeah, I've got a few that I've typed, and some have been answered, but I'm going to go through them real quickly, and I'm not sure if they are Blackboard related.
Okay.
One question from Amber: are we going to have to consistently validate?
Okay, great question. So typically what happens is that most faculty members use the Biosig validation on some type of assessment. So I have one of my instructors uses it for every single quiz and exams. Personally, I use it just to get you familiar with it under lessons. And then once you go to exams, you have to do it every time. So it really is going to be up to the instructor, but you can probably guess that you'll have to do it at least 4 times.
Okay, Angela, if I could interrupt you, and I do apologize, students, we've gotten a bit off of schedule. So what I'd like to do is move on to the faculty panel. And in this panel, perhaps we could answer some of these questions that are going unanswered in the chat. So
Charlotte,
students, if you,
I've typed them up, and I don't know, and some of them are registration related, so I don't know if we want to answer those before we get to the faculty panel.
okay, if we could take a few minutes and answer those,
Yeah, that might be
then we
the
can
best way
make
to
up.
go. And one of them has to do with Blackboard here. So Angela, Dr. Reese, this is for you. I changed my password on eTrieve and Student Eagle Dashboard. Will the Blackboard default to the original password?
Yes. So Blackboard is still going to be your date of birth, month, day, year, because it is a separate system. So you would, if you wanted to change that password, you would have to do it on Blackboard.
Right. Next question, I think it's already been answered. The deadline for registration and payment. I think, Julie, you answered that, but if you can kind of reiterate that for everyone.
Um, we're wanting everybody to get registered and paid for classes this Friday. That's the goal, that we have everybody in classes. So really make Friday your goal. We do late registration next week for those late ads and different things that need to happen, but your goal should be this Friday.
Great. Next
I've got a
question, can
question.
I register for classes online or do I have to do it in person?
Yes, you can. Your big thing is you have to go, if you have any kind of holds, if you have an advising hold or anything like that, you would need to talk. And we have Eva Hutchins, who's going to come in and talk you through how to get advising, how to get registered. All of that's going to happen here coming up. And so you're going to learn how to make those contacts and how to make all that happen. So we're going to go over that here after the panel and after financial aid.
Okay, great. Next
I've got a
question,
question, quick.
and this is a registration question too. I registered in a course and I requested TA a few days ago, which is tuition assistance. If it doesn't get approved by the 18th when the class starts, will I have to drop out?
You do have to satisfy payment by the class date. And so if you have questions about the status of that, I would be reaching out to the Veterans Office to ask about the status of your financial aid and where that stands. And we will post the email.
We'll have
about how you
information
do
on
that.
the end.
Yeah, another related question from Jeff. I'm using my GI Bill to pay for my classes, but it currently says I owe on the CTC website. So can someone address that?
Maybe Lisette, do you know enough to answer a little bit about that one? You're muted.
You're muted. So if I could send her a message and let her know she's muted.
She's working on it.
I just unmuted her. She can speak now.
Okay.
She's still not connected there somehow. I don't know. Jeff, we'll get that question answered at some point here. So
Yeah, veteran issues, I'm going to tell you, any of those, you need to be making contacts, and we will put the email address, the chat address, how to contact. You really need to work specifically on your situation because every person's situation is separate and different. You need to be working with the Veterans Office to understand what you need to do and how you're going to accommodate payment, if it's going to be in, all of those kinds of things.
yeah, and Jeff, when I get through with these questions, I'm going to send you a private message with the Veteran Services contact information so you can call them directly and get the answer to your question if we can't get it satisfied here. All right, so bear with me just a second. I got another question here. What if a person is kicked out of a registered class? And that was from Amanda.
Okay, you'd have to explain to me what you mean kicked out,
Kicked out.
or what
Is that
that
for
means. I don't
non-payment?
think we understand what that means. Does that mean that you registered for a class and maybe you got contacted by the registration office that the class got canceled? Is that what you're saying? If that is what you were saying, let's say you registered for a class and the registration office put in a call to you and said that your class was canceled. That means that there weren't enough students registered for that class. And so we've had to make some changes. And the recommendation is going to be at this point that you'll need to go in and register for either another class, that same class that may be in a section that it made, or look at another class that you can take. You can work through the advising office if you need suggestions about what that class should be. And again, Eva Hutchins is going to be here soon, and she can tell you all the different ways you can contact them to get recommendations for that.
Great. And another question here. So I registered for the spring semester, but I don't think I'll be able to attend due to training in California. Am I able to do the summer semester instead, even though I signed up for the spring?
Yes, absolutely. That's the beauty of CTC. We have several, start terms. We want you to be here. But we also have different modes. We have online, we have SVL, we have in person. There's so many ways to look at it. So definitely reach out to either advising or any one of us about your individual situation. We can help advise you how to make all of it happen, but absolutely there are ways to make it happen.
Yes, and we're going to post a few of those contacts information so that you'll know who to contact for your specific issue.
If you've already registered and you're gonna wait and take the courses in the summer, make sure you withdraw so that you don't take a seat in the course by accident. You know what I mean? So if you've already registered, make sure that you go ahead and do the withdrawal. Nobody's gonna withdraw for you.
Okay. Bruce, are we good now to move on to the faculty panel?
Well, the last question is a Jennifer question, and I can probably answer it. Jennifer Parcell in Student Life. When will CTC have a new Sigma Kappa Delta and English Honor Society sponsor? To my understanding, Dr. Cornell is no longer the sponsor. That will depend on if we can find someone else to take over her role. We constantly look for sponsors, faculty sponsors, which is required to have a student club. So we are in the process of trying to line somebody up for that. So as soon as we have that, we'll put that out there and make that announcement either through our student announcements or on the Student Life webpage through CTC. So yes, you will.
Yes,
We will
that
find
is
that out
correct.
as quickly as possible.
Okay. Charlotte, I think we can start with the panel if you want to go ahead.
Okay.
Please, thank you. I'm sorry.
Okay, and students, again, I apologize, we've gotten off schedule, but this is all important information. It's useful, and we're doing our best to provide you with the necessary tools that you're going to need. But moving right along, next we have our faculty panel. This is where you get to ask questions of the selected faculty that's on this panel. And the faculty is going to share a little bit of information about what you need to do to be successful in their classes. Faculty, are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, right. We have Angela Reese, Matt Lyles, and Peggy Cheney and Stephen Salvato.
All right. Well, I guess I'll just say something briefly here. So, hey, folks, please feel free to ask questions, whether in the chat or out loud. We're happy to answer anything you've got. Bruce or somebody, if you could help read them out to us if we're not getting them answered. Maybe we each go through and say a quick thing that we think is important, and I'll go ahead and kick it off here. So, since I've already talked about it through email, I'm going to reiterate communication is crucial. I'll let some of the other people stress about syllabus here in a minute. But communication, don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions before class, after class, office hours. Your professors have office hours and they are for you. Please come and ask questions, get help. We cannot read your mind. We don't know when you're struggling all of the time. Sometimes you can see it in somebody's face if you have them in class, but you know when you have a question, please ask. We would love to be able to help you. Communicate with us well. Sometimes weird things happen. You're trying to make it to class, you have a flat tire, you have weird things happen. Shoot us an email, communicate well, and we will work with you the best we can to make you as successful as you can be in our class.
I'd like to go ahead and address a question that has popped up in the chat a few times. If you'll scroll back up and I can put it in again, there is a link for instructional materials. A couple of people have asked about how do I buy my books? How do I know what I need for my classes? Under that instructional materials link that I provided, again, we'll put that again in just a second. You can click on that and search for the books that you need for a specific time frame. So it'll ask you, when are you looking to take classes? And you put that in, and then it tells you what books you need. From there, it will ask you if you want to purchase, and you can click on the link to go to our bookstore. You do not have to use our bookstore to purchase your books unless you're using financial aid to cover them up front. So if so, you would need to go through our bookstore or our online bookstore. Somebody had mentioned that you can get your books on Amazon. You can borrow from friends. The only thing that I want to point out is that sometimes the book that is listed will have an access code. So for example, business statistics has an access code. A lot of our math classes have an access code. Those types of classes that say access code required, that does not come with a book that typically that you're going to purchase elsewhere. So you want to make sure if you're purchasing it outside of places that we provide for you, you want to make sure that that also has everything that you need. Oftentimes too, so in the class that I showed you, it uses a free resource, but in my classes that require an access code, you can actually purchase the access code through my class at a much cheaper rate than you could finding it on your own. So once you have access to your classes tomorrow, of course, you can use the link that I shared with you today, or you can go into your class, syllabus page 1, look to see what materials are required for your course, and then go from there. Don't just start buying things without doing the research.
Got another question that just came in while we've got a second here. What if I'm waitlisted for a course that's supposed to start next week? When will I be notified if I will get in or not?
I can kind of answer. I know if you are in a waitlisted class, the registration staff will contact you and let you know if you are making it into the class or not. And so it'll either be through email, or they will call you and let you know that happens. What happens is then you need to go in. If they say it's good, then you would need to go in and register for the class, but they will let you know.
Can I jump
Right,
in,
that's
Julie, for a
that's
quick
correct,
second?
Julie. They are sending out the emails with the instructions on how to go in and register for that class once your name pops up.
Yes, and can I add something real quick? Once you've been notified, your spot is held for 48 hours. So you need to register as quickly as possible.
Right.
Yeah, because please understand, if you're not going to take the class, somebody else wants it. So that's why we move really right? That's why we move really quickly. So if you are in a waitlisted, make sure you're checking email and all of that. And if you get that, take action immediately. Okay.
Right. Another question regarding books. How do I purchase my books if I'm getting a Pell Grant? Do I have to pay out of pocket until funds are distributed?
That would be a great question for Lucette to answer. If she, I don't
Absolutely.
know if her mic is working yet.
Is it, can y'all hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
Yes.
Yay, we got you, Lizette.
Hallelujah. Okay. So typically Pell Grants are dispersed 10 days prior to classes starting. So it's kind of a trick question. Whenever your classes are starting, if they're starting the 18th, like most of the beginning of the term are starting, then you should have already received a disbursement. If you have not received a disbursement, please contact our office. And if you're starting in, say, February, we have a few classes that are starting then, it's going to be 10 days prior to that. So you're going to kind of mark your calendar and watch out for that. Another issue that we're having too with the books is the ARP grant. And I'll get into that later, but you can use funds from your ARP grant to purchase your books as well ahead of time.
Right.
If you, can I just clarify, if you are awarded financial aid and it's already been awarded and everything, you can go over to the bookstore, give them
Yes.
your ID number, and they're going to be able to
Yes.
see that you have the Pell Grant and allow you to charge those books. Your issue is going to be if you have not been awarded, then you will not be able to do that.
One
All right.
quick interruption, I'm sorry. If you're going to be using your financial aid at the bookstore to purchase your books early, please bring your student ID card, because that's the only way they will verify that your account is yours. To get an ID card, that's going to be in building
220?
209.
209, sorry, 209.
209, and you just go in and you get your ID card, and then you can go to the bookstore.
All right. And to that, and also there's another question. Let's see. I just lost it. I'm sorry. The questions are popping in so fast.
Yeah.
I saw a question. May I
Oh.
address one?
Yes.
Yeah, let me get to this one real quick. Could we show up physically to talk to someone about all these things, particularly class registering? And that was also in building 209. Yes, you can show up and talk to student services. It's called the Enrollment Center, and that's building 209.
Okay, somebody else was going to answer something.
Yes, this is Peggy. Sorry, thank y'all. I saw a question that came up about concern of delayed books, and I know that I can speak for my classes. I can't speak for all, but most of our publishers allow a 2-week free access. So if you're stressing about waiting for your books to get here, please don't stress, because a lot of times they give us a little buffer space there. You might have to be using an e-text instead of your physical text while you're waiting for your physical text to be shipped. But I just want to let everybody know that's usually an option. So please don't stress if it's the first day of school and you haven't received your books yet.
I can add to that. Dr. Reese talked about access codes for some courses. If you have an access code for a course, typically that comes with the ebook. So you get your 2-week free trial on that. You have the ebook. You can stay with the ebook the whole semester if that's something you want. You don't have to have a physical paper textbook. But your professor in each class will speak day one about what is exactly expected to make abundantly clear, hey, this is exactly what you need. These are your options. Again, we're here to help you succeed in our classes here. So if you're confused, you can also, once you're in your Blackboard class, you can reach out to your professor immediately in the messages there in Blackboard. If you're unsure about anything, ask. It's no big deal. Shoot us a quick message, say, hey, I'm unsure about this, and we're happy to answer it anytime.
Thanks, Matt. Another question that came in, what if you have not been able to sign up for a class because your application is on hold because of awaiting paperwork? Because I have screenshot the paperwork but have not got a response in it. So
Is
It,
that from admissions?
yeah, I'm going to put the admissions email. I've already posted it one time. I will put it back in there. If you have not been fully admitted yet, you obviously will not be able to register yet, or if they're waiting for additional documentation, the admissions office will let you know. So if you were in that status, you definitely need to reach out to admissions so that you understand what that is and they can take care of that. You can also reach out to the advising office. Again, we are going to be posting all of those email addresses here in just a second, because we have presenters coming that are going to address all these issues.
Absolutely.
right, and that's very true. One that's very specific here, and I don't know if we need to wait for this one. On the nursing program virtual info session, it was said that RNSG 1229 must be taken in the spring semester, but that class is not there. So I don't know if we need to just refer them to the nursing department.
Yeah, that's going to
Absolutely.
be a very specific nursing issue, and we're going to add, we'll put that information, that contact information in the chat for you, but that's going to be a very specific issue that needs to be addressed through the nursing area.
Yes, that has to come from the department.
Okay, and then the last question I have is, before we get back, is when do we receive the extra funds from your Pell Grant via direct deposit generally? So I assume that's a Lucette question that you can address when you're.
Lucette, I believe Lusette's going to address all of that in her presentation that's coming back. So let's hold that one, and then let's get back to the faculty, panel
Sure.
and their recommendations
Yes.
for what it takes to be successful. All of that's going to be addressed in just a second.
So I think we've heard, sounds like students, I want you to know that our professors, your instructors, they are approachable. So any questions that you have, if you're falling behind in class, just reach out to your instructors and just try to work out those details with them. They are here for you. They're not going to leave you hanging. If you have questions, there is no stupid questions. Just email your instructors and just reach out to them.
If we're kind of going back around to the successes in classes, besides all of the standards of keep up with your scheduling and your syllabus and et cetera, one that I've seen as kind of a common theme among my students is students are not coming to class prepared for the class. So unlike maybe high school or other classes, they kind of spoon feed it to you while you're in class, versus in college, we expect you to have already read the content and be somewhat familiar with it before coming to the lecture. And something that I hear from my students a lot is they feel like you're going too fast. And usually my response is, if you feel like I'm going too fast, it probably means you didn't do the prep work that you needed to do before coming to class. I know that sounds a little bit harsh, and we're here to help you. If you're not sure what you need to do to be prepared to come to class, please talk to us. I have students come talk to me all the time, and I encourage this and say, hey, if you feel like you're putting in the effort, but you're not seeing the return on your effort, come talk to me, because we need to make some adjustments adjustments to what efforts you are putting into that class. So especially for students who are first-time freshmen in college classes, this is going to be a little bit of an adjustment from maybe other classes you've had in the past. So I just kind of want to give that one as a heads up, outside of all of the old standards that we always talk about, is to do your work to be prepared before the lecture begins. And if you're not sure what that entails, please come talk to us. We will give you tips and suggestions and ideas for how you can get the most out of that hour and 20 minutes that you're with us in the classroom.
One thing I wanted to add as well, based on a question that popped up, in case not everyone got to see the question, but it was regarding what classes to take. So we have, as departments, we have created degree programs for you and laid out how we feel it is best to take the courses based on our experience and knowing what all of the classes entail. So you will see, for example, for a 2-year associate degree, it'll show you 4 different semesters of what we think you should try to take in 1 semester at a time. So you wouldn't sign up for the entire 2-year program. You would sign up for 1 semester. And if you're somebody who's working full time, you have small children, you're busy, you know, you have a complete life or two outside of school, you might not be ready for a full load. So you might start with what you feel you can handle. But if you wanted to be a full-time student, then you would take, you know, 4 or 5 classes if you felt like you could handle that. In order to proceed. And if you're concerned, am I on the right degree program? This is kind of what I want to do, but I really don't know. Talk to the faculty in the department. After you've gone through the entire process through the enrollment center, all amazing folks to help you get on track. Then you can ask your degree specific questions or your career specific questions to your faculty members and say, you know, this is what I ultimately, my end goal. This is what I want to achieve by going to school. And then we can help you work backwards, make sure that you're on the right program, make sure that the classes you're taking are in the order that'll best suit you. We are here to help. There's always somebody in the departments. Call, shoot us an email if you want to have an appointment, but we are here to answer those types of questions.
Can I say something briefly about grades? Every semester, I have students that will come to me during final exams or right after they've taken their final exam. And in a panic, they're going to say, what can I do to raise my grade? And my answer is always the same. And I'm going to just say it now because it's more time appropriate now. The time to worry about your grade is from the beginning of the semester and not at the end. When you have, if you start seeing grades go a bad direction, you want to make a change. You know, if you don't do well on a quiz or an exam, you don't want to study the same way for the next exam or it will go the same way. If you don't know if maybe you're focusing on the wrong things or going about it a way that you don't understand how you can improve it, talk to your instructor. Go to, we have all kinds of tutoring options on campus. Find some way to get some help so that you can make a change. Sometimes it's a work smarter, not harder situation. Sometimes you're working really hard and it's not paying off. And maybe we can give you some advice to say, maybe if you focus on these types of things, I can tell you exactly what to do in one of my classes. I can't speak for other people's, but we have lots of help available for you. Don't wait till the end. The moment you start seeing any kind of a struggle, don't be afraid to ask.
I absolutely second that. We see that a lot. Also, if you're coming to us and talking to us earlier in the semester, we can give you different study tips, different avenues for how to gain success. Coming to us in the last week of the semester is not going to get you there. So I just want to add to that.
Okay. Thank you, faculty, and a lot of good questions. And a little bit later on in the orientation, we are going to provide resources to the students so that you'll be able to know who to reach out and contact should you find yourself in situations or you have questions about further being successful in your classroom and kind of where is tutoring and what all do the tutors offer. So we are going to provide that to you in just a little bit. But if we can, get back on schedule. I think financial aid is ready for their presentation, and I hope that some of the questions that are coming up will be answered by financial aid. Lucette, are you ready?
I am. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay,
Go
great.
ahead.
First of all, welcome. And if you need money, come see me because we have money to give away. I'm going to share my screen and briefly go over some of the things we have available and the process on how financial aid works. And if you have any more questions, we're happy to answer them for you. I do want to say off of what Ms. Starkey had said about making your coursework a priority. We do like to help you, financially with your classes, but it's not infinite. And so you don't want to waste your monetary resources on having to retake classes. So again, like Dr. Cheney had said, make sure that you go to your professors ahead of time. If you start struggling, there's resources available to help you. Just communicate, communicate, communicate. Okay. So let me go ahead and share my screen here. Maybe.
That's been an issue all day today.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay. Can you see the grants?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So briefly, it says up to $2,000. So in a nutshell, any classes that you take from 3 to 11 hours total for the term is a $1,000 grant. Please remember that grants do not have to be paid back. Even if you're going to be taking those classes, partial 8-week classes, at the beginning, and then you're going to add some more. If your load increases to 12 hours, they will give you an additional $1,000. Okay. With this grant, it's not something that as soon as you're awarded, it's going to be put in your bank account. Just like any other financial aid, typically financial aid is dispersed 10 days prior. Then 30 days after classes start is when the business office sends out those refunds. So if you have questions about your refund that you're getting from your grant or your Pell or your loans, that's typically not going to start until about 30 days after your classes begin. And we get that question quite a bit. Okay, let's see. I'm going to switch over here to this. So we have different types of financial aid available. Briefly, I want to go over them. You can see hopefully on the screen there's grants, work study, student loans, and scholarships. If you apply for a FAFSA, then that's going to open up the Pell Awards and the student loans. It also can identify you for Texas state grants. So if you're already receiving a Pell Award and you think you may be eligible for additional things, you're welcome to send us an email or call us and say, well, what about the TEOG grant or the Texas grants that we have available, so that you can apply for them. In addition to that, again, this is grants or money that you don't have to pay back. Scholarships are opening this month, and the window is only open until the end of February. So this is going to be a preparation for the following year, your next fall classes. But the only time the windows are open are January and February. And so you can contact Wendy Martell over there at the foundation office. It's my understanding that you can complete one application at ctcd.edu and with the foundation section. And I think we have over 600 scholarships available. So please do that. Then we have a work study program that you're eligible for as well. So if there's something around campus that interests you and you might want to make some extra money and you qualify for a Pell Grant, then we can absolutely have you fill out an application with Brandy Sappenfeld, and she can help you out to see what is a good fit for you. I know that we have some students that work at the gym, some work in the VA, some work in admissions, different places. So if there's something that interests you, you're more than welcome to do that. I also wanted to touch base about the Eagle Mail. We're one of those departments that chooses to use the student email. So once you do get your student email, make sure you check it frequently, that and your Eagle self-service, because if there is an issue with your application or your FAFSA, the Department of Education notices or notifies us, and then we contact you. So you may have to provide us with a document such as your tax return. Okay, so we always want to make sure that you're constantly updating that. Sometimes students sign up for a class that isn't covered by their Pell Grant, and you got to stay on top of that as well, because that's something you're going to work with your academic advisor with. Dr. Hutchins can talk to you about that too. So there's 2 FAFSAs out right now. Let me jump ahead here. If you have completed the 21-22 FAFSA, you're not going to get an award. I'm sorry, if you completed the 22-23 FAFSA, you will not get your award until next fall. So make sure that you check your account to see if there's an award there. You have to have completed the 21-22 FAFSA using your 2019 tax and income information. Okay, let's move on down here real quick. I know we're all behind, so I'm trying to kind of zip through here. Okay, and so again, the CTC Foundation scholarships, please make sure that you fill out an application for those. One other issue that we're having, if you're still interested in filling out the FAFSA, is make sure that when you complete your FAFSA, that the address that you put on there matches the address on your IRS tax information. If it does not match exactly, it will get a verification notification, and that will prolong your awards there. One more thing that we get, I know we've been talking about the bookstore a little bit. So say you're not eligible for Pell Awards or student loans, and you know you're going to get the ARP grant and you want to order books, but you're ordering them online because you're overseas or whatnot. When you go to order your books online, just using the ARP funding, make sure in the comments section somewhere that you state, I want my ARP funds to pay for my books, and they should take care of you. That is something that we've run into quite a bit. In general, the process for financial aid, it's very, very simple. I'm not even sure how to stop. There we go. Okay, so you fill out your application. Again, it can take some time. Everybody's kind of scrambling right now to get ready for classes. We are all here. If you want to come in, we're here from 7:30 to 5:30 Monday through Thursday. We are here from 7:30 to 11:30 on Fridays. We have a live chat that's available, and our phones are ringing off the hook. Luckily, I guess because I'm on here, you can't hear my phone ring, so that's pretty cool. But we are happy to help you. Veteran Services is upstairs, and we have a whole team that if you have questions about your GI Bill or if you're eligible, all of those folks up there can help you. I do know that it does take some time. So again, encouraging you to complete that ARP application. We are processing them within a day or two. So if you don't hear something, feel free to give me a call and I can check that out for you as well.
Hey, Lucette, I do
think
have
that's
one
about it.
question that's been popping up on the regular. If you need
Okay.
to change your financial status on your FAFSA, how do I do that?
That's going to depend on what you mean by your financial status. So if you have questions about that, you'll need to come in or call and ask. If you're talking about whether or not you're a dependent or independent, there's very particular rules from the U.S. Department of Education. The federal government says that if you are 24 years old or younger, your parents are still responsible for you, and you're going to need to file as a dependent, and you will need their tax information. Unless you are married, if you're living alone and supporting a child by yourself, or if you're in the military, then you can file independent. So again, that's something you may want to call in and check. So it just depends on what you mean by your status. If you're talking about your academic status, because your funding will change from the time that you're a freshman. Once you hit over 31 hours, you become a sophomore. So you may get an award that's a little bit higher. That's something that you would need to call in, or you can even email us. We're constantly responding to everything. So there's multiple ways you can contact us.
I hope that answers your question, Kenneth. Let me see if there's any other financial aid questions that I've been trying to follow along here. And get some of them have been answered. Where can I check that I've been awarded my financial aid? It shows my ARP grant paying for my classes booked for now, but still have not gotten disbursement to my account.
Okay, so that's going to be in your Eagle self-service. In your account summary, you're going to want to click on Spring 22. It may be the only term that you have, and you can expand all, where you'll see, if you can see all of the classes that you've registered for, you should see all of your awards. Now again, here's another little tricky part. The computer doesn't like it unless we're at least 10 days from your class starting for it to say you're eligible for award or not. Well, if you're only taking 2 classes the first 8 weeks and you're taking 2 classes the next 8 weeks, you're not a full-time student yet. The computer is going to tell you that you're ineligible for your award because you're not ineligible for the full award of Pell at 12 hours. So that may be something that you want to contact financial aid about. But all of your awards, as soon as they disperse, should show up in your account summary there in your self-service.
And that was the last question I had regarding financial aid. So again, as Lucette mentioned, scholarships will be opening up January 15th, online application, and it only takes one application to qualify you for a multitude of scholarships. So please take advantage of that opportunity for some more free money. And please check out those grant options. Again, free money. Don't want to pass that up.
You got it.
Absolutely.
Lucette.
And Bruce, students, you'll see the slide that's showing now. This is the contact information for the VA representative for those students that are receiving military benefits.
Hey, Charlotte, it's not showing. Did you hear me?
How about now? Is it showing now?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah, now it's all gone.
I think we're having technical difficulties. We do apologize about that.
Well, I'll look up the VA information and put it in there myself. So that's no problem.
Charlotte, can we go ahead? Are you okay if we go ahead and let Eva go ahead and start? Oh, here it is. She got it.
Absolutely.
And that's for our Vet Success Center on campus is Mr. Morgan.
That's if you're trying to really figure out your veterans situation,
And
what
how
all
about now?
benefits you might qualify for. It's kind of a good starting place. This is not the place though that's going to actually make any kind of the awards. That's going to be through our Veterans Benefits Office, and that's a separate, but this is a good starting place.
Okay, I think we're ready now, Julie.
Okay, so if everybody has that, if you want to switch and introduce Eva, and we can move, because I know there have been a lot of questions in the chat about advising and registration. So I'm
Absolutely.
very happy that you guys are going to get to talk to Ms. Hutchins.
Yes. So Eva Hutchins is our Associate Dean for Enrollment Services. So Eva, take it away.
Okay, I've got some slides. If you want to stop sharing, I'll share here in a moment. Hey everyone, can y'all hear me okay?
And your slide is up there.
Awesome. Yeah, once you stop sharing, Charlotte, I'll be able to share mine. So I just wanted to make one quick note. Miss Lucette gave me a little bit of a promotion there. I'm not a doctor, so I'm just Eva, okay? But I am here and excited to meet with you all and welcome you, first of all, to CTC. I'm glad y'all are here. Glad you're tuning into this session. It's got a lot of great information. Some of my absolutely very favorite people are conducting this and being speakers at this. So the student success team, shout out. They're amazing. All of the faculty that are coming in and talking to you are wonderful. So y'all are getting the true best of the best here, okay? So as Julie and Charlotte mentioned, I'm over here in academic advising, and I do supervise all of the advising here on Central Campus. So I'm going to go ahead and share my slides so I can give you some information here, and y'all can take pictures and screenshots or whatever with some of this contact information as I go through. All right, y'all should be able to see it now. I'll just advance to the first one. Let me hear. It's going a little slow, sorry. There we go. Okay, so these are all of our phone numbers and emails. If y'all like to call or email, those are awesome ways to reach out to us. I'll also have our in-person information here in a moment. I've got three main offices here. Academic advising, they're here in building 209. They do appointments, they do virtual, face-to-face, and phone and email, of course, always answering phone and email. So they are amazing if you're here at Central Campus and you want to reach out to someone quickly. If you're on campus, you're like, I need to see someone, come over and see us over here in building 209. Eagles on Call is another set of advising. They are our distance learning and non-traditional hour advising office. So they see students only through phone and email, but they are open non-traditional hours. So Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. So if you're working or live, a little bit off or whatever, and you don't want to come to campus, you certainly don't have to. And this office is available to you guys whenever you need. They're wonderful. And then Kate Advising is over in the Skill Center, Career and Technical Education Center, building 253. So where the industrial technology and office technology programs are. So if you're registering for those types of courses, graphics and printing, industrial tech, and office tech, those advisors are over there in that building with you guys, and they help you register, stay on track in those programs, and complete out those. So they're available through phone and email and face-to-face appointments as well. So as you're over there, if you're taking those at Kate Center classes, they're over in offices room 3 and 4. All right, so I did promise, as mentioned, the way to get to us through appointments, and as mentioned, they're face-to-face and virtual. We also have live chat. Forgot to mention that Eagles on Call and Academic Advising do have the live chat. That's the same as what Miss Lucette had mentioned earlier for her team. And so there's the link for that as well. If you need to make an appointment with us anytime throughout the semester, we open appointments for 2 weeks. We don't have it open outside of 2 weeks because we know people tend to forget that they booked if they book it out 3 months in advance. So you can see what's on the calendar for face-to-face and virtual and schedule that to meet with your advisor as needed. So one of the things that we do over here, and right now, this is one of the things that at New Student Orientation I always talk about. First of all, your resources. There's a lot of great information at these URLs. So if I need to send these over to anybody, just let me know. A lot of times right now you're trying to schedule out your class schedule for the semester. So if you need help with that, if you still haven't registered for classes yet, or if you're needing to adjust it a little bit to make sure that you have the right schedule, then that's exactly what we're here for. We're over here in building 209. If you come over here, we will be happy to help you. You don't have to make an appointment to do that. We've got computers and staff over here ready to help. So depending on what the question is, you may speak with an advisor, or you may just go to the computer and have some of the staff from registration or the front desk helping with that. But either way, we're going to help make sure you get the schedule that you need, as long as there are seats in the class. It's kind of getting down to the wire. So if you're ready to do that and you haven't, and you need help with it, come in and see us. We'll help you get logged into self-service and find out what exact schedule you need and get you into those classes. One of the things that advising I always like to go over, especially when it comes to funding, and we just talked about funding, is if you change your degree plan, that can affect your funding source. It can also affect your career goals and your plans to transfer, if you have those plans to transfer to a four-year college. So if you're thinking of doing that, we definitely want to talk with you. So I always put that out here at this time, because sometimes I know you've applied at the last minute. You just put down the first thing on the application as far as your degree plan, and then 2 days later you've thought about it a little bit more or seen something and you're like, I think I want to change to that. Happy to help make that change possible. Just want to make sure you have all of the information you need to make an informed decision. So if you email us about that, make sure you include your CTC. Well, if you email us about anything, please make sure you include your CTC ID and date of birth, as well as your full name. I get emails every day that say, hey, can you help me with this? And the email address says, 123.abc@gmail.com. I don't know who you are. If you don't tell me who you are, I can't look up your account, and I have to look up your account to help you. I will never discuss your file without looking at your records, so I'm giving you accurate information. Neither will any of my staff. We're really picky about that. So those are some of the things I always want to make sure you guys know. I was going through some of the questions earlier. I'm going to throw up our contact information slide one more time, just as I'm too far. Just as I finish talking out here, one of the things I know a lot of you guys are having questions about is when you're going to get your money. Just as a reminder, the ARP is going, if you've asked for it to pay for your tuition, it's going to pay for your tuition up front. You have to stay attending in your classes to receive that as a disbursement for any balance that remains. If there's a balance on the ARP that's going to come to you, it's not going to come to you until you're certified as attending in your classes. Certification date is different for every class. It's based on the start and end date. It could be 2 to 3 weeks before you get that money, depending on when your teacher certifies you as attending. Okay. And each teacher has to certify their class as attending or not at a certain date in that class. So just keep in mind that's probably not going to come to you as quickly as you might be expecting after classes start. It takes a little bit more time than that. And then of course with financial aid, it's roughly 30 days after classes start if it's like your Pell or your loans. We get that question a lot, so I wanted to go over that. Any other questions that have come in on the chat?
Yeah, Eva, the last one was, how long does the consolidation process take?
Consolidation, I'm not sure what that's referring to.
Either.
I am not sure either, but that's from Terry Shepard, so if you can elaborate on that. I've written down some other ones or copied and pasted, so let me see if I can find some that are specifically for you. We talked about the wait list. Let's see. Hang on a second.
Okay. While you're looking at that, Bruce, when I hear the word consolidation, the only thing that comes to my mind is transcripts. Like to get all of if you have previous college transcripts on file. Once you've turned in official transcripts, it can take a little bit of time for those to be processed and reviewed. If that's the question and you're needing to know what classes to take and schedule so that you don't take something you've already taken, you definitely want to meet up with your advisor. So schedule an appointment or come in and see us over here in building 209 so we can talk about that. I don't know if that's what that is about, but that's what it makes me think of is transcripts.
Well, Terry, if you can kind of expand upon that, we'd appreciate it. Another question, and you probably already talked about this. My account is not letting me enroll into classes. Is it because my financial aid is still being reviewed?
There could be so many reasons why an account is not letting you register. So we can definitely review any loans. And so if there is a hold on your account, we would need to have you either call or come in or email us so that we can look at your account. It's not necessarily because of financial aid. It's probably something else. Terry responded that it's about loans from the past. That would be a question for the loan officer, which is Lucette. If you want to reach out to Lucette Brett, I don't know if she's still on here or not. For her.
No, I'm still here.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, if it's loan consolidation, then you would need to contact your lender, and you can contact NSLDS to get that information online. Let me see. I'll find out if I can put that in the chat. It's a U.S. Department of Education website that you would go to get that information to consolidate it. Okay.
Great, thanks, Lisette. And while she's doing that, what do you turn in for TSI results if you're exempt?
One more time, I'm so sorry.
It says, what do you turn in for TSI results if you're exempt?
Well, we would just need documentation of the exemption. So I would need to know what the exemption was to tell you what form that is. If it's military, it's your DD 214. If it's test scores, it's whatever test scores you have. If it's from another college, those transcripts. You would need to bring that into building 209 to give to your advisor. Right. And then I did see a question about Blackboard. Blackboard access is once you're registered for the class, and it's the weekend prior to the start date. And student email is also based on that certification process of being attending in your classes. You won't get your student email until after your first class has gone through the census date timeline, and they've certified that you're attending, and then you'll be assigned a student email.
Okay, and this next question is more of an advising question. They need to know, they're not sure who to reach out to for what classes to register for. They already have their EMT national registration and wouldn't want to register for a class that they don't need.
Yeah,
Would
we
that
can
be
go
something
help
that
with
need-
that. You would want to meet up with an advisor. We'd have to look at your particular records to advise.
If you're taking EMT courses and that's what you want to pursue, then we probably recommend that you contact the EMT folks directly. And if you give me a couple seconds, I will look up their contact information and put that in the chat as well. Again, if you want to pursue your EMT studies, and that would be the way to go, is to contact the EMT folks directly. Because again, when we have our career cluster on healthcare, we will talk about EMT and we can show you exactly the programs that you need and the classes that are offered and that kind of thing. So, but we'll get you to the right place here shortly. So bear with me.
Morgan put in the contact information for EMT, Bruce.
Oh, thank you, Morgan. You're Johnny on the spot quick.
Tyler, I see your question about Eagle self-service. I've had a few students this week and we've just had a time trying to get into Eagle self-service. It's a process. We can help with that. If you've called and gotten a new password and it's still not working, it may be best to come in and have us help you in person. It could be multiple different things, but you can go through the password reset. If you've attempted more than 3 times, it's going to lock you out for 20 minutes. But I know I've had more than one student like that, so I don't know if it's us or what, but it's just been a little bit of a help. But yeah, the technical help for self-service is also listed, or if you want to come in. I hate that. Those have been frustrating for students this week.
A lot of questions about when access to Blackboard will open up. Hopefully you should have access. It's usually the Friday before classes start, so hopefully tomorrow you should have access in Blackboard.
Yeah. All right, and that was all the questions that I have for right now. I'm going to put the there was a student who had questions about where to access Blackboard. I'm going to put the Blackboard link in here. There we go. All right.
And to get a parking permit, I'm sure they'll go over this. You have to be registered and pay for your classes, a student ID card, and they're going to want your card information and whatnot. But that I know they'll probably talk about that too.
Yeah, Officer Ada, if that was you trying to get in, your mic is really fuzzy.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Is it better?
No, that wasn't you. That was Officer Ada, I believe.
Oh,
Yeah, I
sorry.
think she was going to respond. So
Is there any
Looks
other
like she
questions
is.
for me, Bruce?
that was it. The last one was about regarding the parking sticker. So I
Okay.
think that was it. And everything
Y'all
else has
need
been
anything,
answered.
let me know. We are so happy y'all are here as students, and we'd love to meet with you, even if it's during the semester. If something comes up this semester and you're not sure where to go, student success, advising, those are your 2 hot spots for making sure you get the answers you need. Okay,
So thanks, Eva.
no problem. Y'all have a great one.
Okay, our next presentation is going to come from our campus police, and this is going to be from Officer Ada. Officer Ada, are you online?
Who's having problems with the mic? Are you muted or because you're not coming through? Yeah, you'll need to unmute. Ali, can you unmute her? Oh, there you go. There you go.
There you go.
Okay. Hi, everybody. It's Officer Ada. I am standing in for Chief Paragon. Trying to make sure I have everything set up correctly here. And okay. Once again, can everyone hear me? I want to make
Yes,
sure
ma'am.
everyone can hear me. Okay. All right.
Yes.
Okay. I believe Miss Wesley, ma'am, do you have the slides that
I
you would
do.
be okay? All right. So the first slide for campus police is going to be the guidelines to opening up campus.
Can you see the slides now?
No, I do not.
There you go. How about now?
see. Okay, I see it right here. It is on the screen. Thank you. Okay, hello everybody. I am Officer Ada. Nice to meet everybody. Welcome to CTC. I am representing the campus police, and right now who we are. Okay, so we are police officers, fully licensed by the Texas Commission on Law Enforcement. We attended a police academy. We are certified again by the state of Texas. We have powers and jurisdiction within Bell and Coryell County. That will include like Copper's Cove and the city of Killeen, any areas immediately adjacent to Central Texas College. Next slide, Ms. Charlotte. Okay, police services. So we have, and we provide calls for service. There are emergency calls and there's also non-emergency calls. We provide parking permits here at the Central Texas College Police Department. We are located at building 211, that's 211 on Academic Drive. With the parking permits, they are free of charge. Right now, in the month of January, we are not fully enforcing, the policy on making sure you have that permit on your vehicle. Starting February next month, we will be enforcing, that part with the permit. We want to ensure that everybody requests and obtains that parking permit and, place that on your vehicle. You can get more information by coming to the Central Texas College Police Department. Again, it's in building 211 on Academic Drive.
Real quick, Officer Ada,
Sure.
the parking permits are free?
Yes, they're free of charge. Yes.
Okay, and also the campus police, as you said, is in building 211, and that's kind of
Yes.
off the beaten path a little bit. It's right behind the enrollment center. So if you don't see
Yes.
211 right as you drive by, it is right behind the enrollment center, and there's a huge parking lot that you can park in and walk behind the enrollment center, and that's where they are located.
Yes, you're correct. Thank you so much for that, Bruce. Yes, and at the back of the building in the center, you'll see campus police in black bold letters outside the building as well. Any other questions on the permit?
Can I just clarify? I know we have a couple of students that have logged in from sites at other locations.
Okay.
You do not have to have you do not get your parking permit from Central Campus for those locations. You work through the staff in that building at that site to get any kind of parking information, parking access, and all of that. So you will work through your site staff for that in that situation.
Okay, can you reiterate what you mean? On the staff site or site staff?
But let's say you are attending at in a state outside of Texas, one of our other sites, one of our other locations.
Okay.
You do not work through our campus police here at CTC to get your parking permit. You work through the staff at that site location to understand any parking regulations at that site.
Yes, absolutely. Sorry about that. Yes, for like the other locations, other CTC locations. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Okay, and for the unlocking and jump start of vehicles, we do provide these courtesy services. We have, of course, officers, and we also have the safety officers on campus. We provide that of, unlocking your vehicle. Shall you accidentally lock your vehicle or your keys are locked in your vehicle and you need to get in? We provide that services. We also do jump start of your battery of your vehicle. If your battery's dead and stuff like that, we provide those services. Escort to classrooms and vehicles. We also provide that courtesy service. What you will need to do is, call campus police and request that for that service to be escorted to or from your classroom anytime, day of night. We are fully staffed and we are on campus 24/7. And that's also to include your vehicle. So classroom and vehicle escorts are available for your service. Lost and found. We do have a lost and found section here at the PD. If you lose anything around campus, you can always call the campus police or visit us and, come and see if your item has been turned in. Also, we do have a form where, if we don't have your item in our lost and found section, we can just obtain your information, or if you can fill out the form and, describing your item that you lost or misplaced, and we will keep that roster. And if by chance anyone finds it and turns it in, we will give you a call.
We had a question in the chat.
Sure.
Do you have to be registered for your classes before you're allowed to get your parking permit?
Yes, you do. Yes. And with the parking permits, I'm sorry, let me backtrack on that. With the parking permits, you will need to bring in your vehicle registration, your CTC ID card, and your driver's license.
And I'm not sure if someone answered the question, but someone was asking if they're going to the bookstore, do they need to have the permit to go into the bookstore?
The parking permit, no, ma'am. Just like for the bookstore, it'll be your CTC ID.
Yeah, but when you're parking on campus at the bookstore or other areas, please acknowledge the designated parking. Do not park in the reserved spot, official use only spots, or any other designated spot. Park in an unmarked parking spot, because you will get ticketed if you park in a official use only or reserved spot. So please make sure you park in a vacant blank parking spot.
Yes, thank you, Bruce, for explaining that. I appreciate that.
Mhm.
Okay, and next we have first aid. We provide basic first aid, CPR. We are certified.
And they are very helpful.
Um,
I've had a student in my class that needed first aid services, and they were right there on the spot to help out. So if you need it, they are there for you. Trust me on that.
Yes, and we also have, around campus and in each and every building, we have the AED, and officers also carry, it's called a tourniquet, to stop the bleed and events like that or incidents like that may happen. Okay, Miss Wesley, next slide, please.
It's the Clary Act. It's up there.
Yes.
Yes, thank you. So the Clary Act of 1990, as you can see on the screen, it requires all schools to collect, classify, and count crime reports and crime statistics in and around the campus area. We publish and actively distribute an annual security report that contains all statistical and policy disclosures. It must be a single comprehensive report. We also submit crime statistics to the Department of Education. Issue timely warnings and emergency notifications. And at the bottom of the screen, it's for crime statistics at other Texas colleges and universities. Please download the mobile app at Texas Safety U, which is available for Apple and Android devices. Thank you. Okay. So the Eagle emergency alerts, when an emergency occurs, our emergency alert system will send an email, text message, and voice message to students and employees. Situations, emergency alerts will be sent in situations regarding or requiring unscheduled closure or evacuation of a campus or campus facility. This includes the weather closures, power outages, police emergencies, catastrophes, any hazardous event or exposures. Familiarize yourself with examples of sirens and message types that we broadcast. The system may also be used in the event of significant road construction or traffic congestion. The alert system will not be used for promotional purposes or scheduled closures, such as holidays.
And let me just say that once you register for classes, you will automatically be entered into the Eagle Emergency Alert. So there's nothing you need to do. There is a webpage where you can check as it's up on the screen there. But once you register, you are automatically entered into the emergency alerts to receive those text messages.
Okay. Thank you. So the emergency alerts, Eagle emergency alerts, sorry, excuse me. To update your information, you log into the Eagle alerts at that link. It's https://ctcd.omnialert.net. You use your username will be the same as your web advisor. the C lowercase plus your CTC ID. And there's an example, John Smith CTC ID 7654321. It will be C7654321 as your username. Your password will be your birth date in the 2-digit month, 2-digit day, and 4-digit year format. You may also log in from WebAdvisor using the emergency alert icon.
Let me
So-
change that. WebAdvisor is now Eagle Self-Service.
Okay.
So you will not see
Correct.
WebAdvisor, you will see Eagle Self-Service. So you can log into that through Eagle Self-Service.
Okay.
Thank you, Bruce.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Select your notification services. You may enter multiple email addresses and phone numbers. Always select at least one notification method besides text messages, since cell phones are not always reliable in an emergency situation. You may go in and edit or add to your profile at any time. Thank you. So about the law, pursuant to subchapter H, chapter 411 of the Texas Government Code for campus carry, individuals licensed by the state to carry a concealed handgun, you must be a license holder to concealed carry on any Central Texas college campus or universities. You may carry a concealed handgun beginning August 1st, 2017 in approved areas on Central Texas campus and service area locations. Procedures on military bases override the CTCD policy. For example, Fort Hood may have a different policy going on their base. So just adhere to like Fort Hood policy. But on campus, again, it's a concealed carry, and you must be a license holder. And absolutely no open carry. There are gun-free zones, early college, high school, childcare facilities, childhood education activities, and all areas and events frequently visited by minor children. Mental health care service locations, areas involving all sporting or interscholastic events, the Morton Hall residence housing, with some exceptions. So those are all gun-free zones. Next slide, please. Continuation of gun-free zones, locations where dangerous chemicals are stored. CTCD owned, rented, or leased vehicles during transport of minors, areas containing critical college infrastructure, areas where contractual or licensing obligations exclude carrying of firearms. The policies and frequently asked questions are available on the website at www.ctcd.edu. Excuse me. Okay, the Avoid, Deny, Defend, CRACE for short, or the acronym, it's Civilian Response to Active Shooter Events. So if anyone would like to, sign up for any training for the CRACE, we have that information here at the PD. There's resources and trainings for civilians. There's places around Texas that host those trainings. And if you want more information, you can just give the PD a call or come by. So to avoid, deny, defend, in the event there is an active shooter on campus, really depending on where you're at. If you're in the building, make sure to take cover. Get behind closed doors, as fast as you could. Block the doors with any physical object, whether it be chairs, desks, file cabinets, anything like that, to avoid that active shooter. And therefore you're denying him or her access to you. When you're inside that classroom, office, or anywhere interior, just make sure there's a board. It's a white or black board. You will flip that. The black side of that board on the door will indicate to police officers that you need help or you need assistance inside. There's an emergency inside. The whiteboard will indicate that everyone inside that office or classroom is okay. Do not open that door until you know for sure that it is police that is clearing the scene.
And the whiteboard and Blackboard she's talking about are Velcro strips that adhere to the windows on those doors. So your instructor will be able to help with those. So that just so you get a better idea of what she's talking about when she says white or blackboard.
Yes, and every door, every classroom door, office door should have that board. It's really critical that that is on there. And once you're inside a safe place, please make sure you silence your phones immediately. If you can safely text 911, please do so. Close the blinds, close the windows, and avoid that attacker. Deny that attacker, and ultimately you're going to defend yourself. And wait for campus police to clear the scene. Do not, again, I can't emphasize enough, do not open that door to anybody, only campus police. And that will be it for the avoid, deny, defend.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much. If there are
Okay.
any questions, again, CTC Police Department is open 24 hours, 7 days a week. There's always an officer on duty. If you need further clarification or explanation, or any follow-up questions, please feel free to call the campus police at 254-526-1427, or you can come by to the police department here at Central Killeen campus at 211 Academic Drive.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for that helpful information. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, next on our agenda, students, we have Dean Julie Starkey. As mentioned, Julie is our Dean of Student Success and Persistence, and Julie is going to talk to us a little bit about our campus resources and responsibilities of our students. Julie?
If you want to advance the PowerPoint, I'd appreciate it. I don't have it here. And you can go ahead and go on.
Okay.
Go on one more. Okay, guys, I'm going to go over this really quickly, and this is what you just need to know in terms of your rights, your responsibilities, and then the resources that we have to support those things. And so I'm going to try to go over this really quickly. Wait, can you back up one, Charlotte? I think you jumped ahead. Back up one for me. Yeah, that's what I want you to be. Honestly, it all starts, all your rights and responsibilities starts with expectations. And really what we're talking about is we want you to be good to yourself, be good to your community, be good to the faculty, staff, and your peers here. That's really what it boils down to. I'm going to go over these very briefly. You've already heard most of these things from the faculty that talk to you. But these kind of set the stage for where we need you to be. And then I'm going to talk to you about, what could happen. And then we're going to talk about some resources. But I'm going to go over these really quickly. Number one, and the most important thing, the expectation that we have for you is that you have to advocate for yourself. You know how I've been telling you all day today, you need to ask your questions? That's advocating for yourself. So you have to now be the person that if there's something that's bothering you or it's not working or something isn't right, you have to take it upon yourself to go ask that question, to go dig a little bit deeper and dig further. College expects you to advocate for yourself, so I need you to understand that. Number two, when we're talking about how we want you to act in the classroom, how we want you to act when you're on campus, when we are talking to you about what we expect from you in the classroom in terms of the coursework, remember, we've raised the ante up. We need you to think about what it is to be an adult. Some of you may be high school students taking classes with us, and sometimes that's a challenge. But we need you to remember what that expectation is to be a responsible adult and to act that way in our classes and to understand what that means. I need you to understand what FERPA is, and we really haven't talked about FERPA, and I'm kind of surprised that hasn't come up before I'm talking about it. FERPA is the Federal Education Rights and Privacy Act, which basically means your academic record, transcript, and all other records that we're talking about are yours and yours alone. And I can't share that, nor can anybody else share that with anybody else without your permission to do so. So that's what I'm telling you. We are accountable to you, the student. And so Can't talk to moms and dads, can't talk to other people. We can't share information unnecessarily. So you have to understand that you are responsible for your record. And so it kind of goes back to that advocacy thing. We've talked about the importance of the syllabus. We expect you to understand that syllabus and to understand, because everything is outlined in terms of what you need to do, what your due dates are. And if you follow that, you're going to stay on course. You're going to understand what your faculty expect from you, both in terms of in the classroom, but also in terms of your assignments. We expect you to attend class regularly. We expect you, if you're in an online class, to regularly log in and to actively participate in that class. I'm telling you, if you do not attend and if you do not do that, the likelihood that you're going to have poor grades and not do well in the class is fairly great, which is then going to create other issues. We expect you to show integrity in all of your work. That's honesty and responsibility in your coursework. And I'm going to talk a little bit about academic misconduct in a minute. And that's really where this comes into play. We expect you to show civility in everything that you do on campus. We are going to be civil to you. We expect you to be civil in return. This means no disruptions in class. We don't be disrespectful to classmates, instructors, to our property. You're going to be exposed to a lot of concepts and a lot of ideas, and you may disagree with them. That's fine. We love discourse. We love discussion, but you have to do it civilly and respectfully, and showing the proper respect that is due. And when we have that, because we're going to challenge you to think differently about some things. I'm telling you, we're going to do that. And so expect that. Expect your values to be challenged. Expect all kinds of things. And it's okay to disagree with some of that, but remember, it all has to be done in a civil manner. We expect you to know about our college guidelines, procedures, and those are going to be done both in the college catalog and the student conduct code. We talk very extensively about cheating, plagiarism, disruption of class, etc., and the importance of understanding how to avoid those kinds of things. And it's important that you understand that these have consequences, in terms of failing a class, in terms of not being allowed to return to class if we engage in that behavior. And I hate to be saying this in this way to you guys, but I just need to be clear. I just want to be upfront and make sure that you understand that we have very strong expectations of us all. There are expectations from a Title IX perspective, and I don't know if you're familiar with Title IX. This is the federal guideline that protects students, faculty, staff, all members of the community from sexual misconduct, particularly sexual harassment, stalking, and those kinds of things that could happen on a campus. And we are obligated, if you feel that you are the subject of any of that, to actively investigate and to deal with those issues. And there are very specific expectations in place for how we're going to handle those. And we're very quick to get involved in all of those things. So you need to be aware of that. And the last thing is we expect you to use the resources that we have available for you. We expect you to use those. And I'm going to go over some more of those because if you do that, when a problem arises, it's going to minimize the effect of that problem. If you reach out to staff, if you reach out to tutoring, if you reach out to your faculty and you say, hey, I have a concern, I have a problem, the likelihood that we can minimize that is going to be really great. Many of you probably are aware of you've heard about a credit report. Like we all have a credit report, even if some of you, and it follows you for a long, long time. It's hard to get it to go up and down, but it follows you forever. Did you know your academic transcript and what you do here, it follows you forever. It is not like what you were in high school. You graduate from high school and okay, all you need to know is you graduated from high school. That's all. Nobody goes back and looks at your high school transcript. They just don't. Once you've gone to the first college, whatever, we don't go back and look at it. That is not the case with college. College is, your transcript is very much like that credit report, and it follows you. So the reason it's important that you understand this is because, what you do academically and how you act are all things that are going to be reflected or can be reflected on that transcript, and it follows you. Okay, so if you transfer to another institution, oftentimes that register is going to reach back out to every other institution and said, hey, how did this person act? Is this person cleared to come to this campus? And so we have to respond back and say, we don't have a disciplinary record. Everything is fine. We are required to respond to that. Now, you can tell that institution you don't want them to reach out, but they're not going to admit you if you do that. And so I just need you to understand, and all the institutions also have a right to look at all of your grades, everything, everything. You can repair things, you can make things better. I don't want you to think it's all, but I want you to go into this very seriously. I want you to understand that starting today, you need to understand this matters. This matters. We will help you. We will help you navigate if there are issues and mitigate things, but I need you to really take this seriously. Okay, so Charlotte, switch, and then let me just talk about a couple of the things that I need. All of our policies and procedures, it's either going to be in the college catalog, which are some of the academic things, or in the student conduct code. The link for that is there. We have academic misconduct. That's the rules that we have in place for cheating, or one of the big ones where students get in trouble, and you might be surprised about, is you have to write a paper and you don't use the proper citation requirements in your paper. And you think, well, what's big about that? Okay, I didn't follow the MLA style. Oh well, no big deal, guys. That's cheating. That's not giving proper citation credit for the person whose work you are citing. At a college, you can't do that. You have to use proper citations. And I'm going to talk to you about, we have resources that are going to help you manage that, but that's an issue. You can't, you can't, when you're taking a test, pull up Google and look for the answer. You're not supposed to do that kind of thing. You can't hire somebody to take a test for you. You know, Professor Reese showed you about Biosite and all of those things. Those are ways that we proctor things and we monitor those things. So what I'm telling you is you have got to show integrity in your work. You're trying to prepare to be an expert in your field. You're trying to prepare for your future, for your career. You need to know this stuff. Okay, so take it seriously and own it. But we do have a process, and if you do engage and if you do violate that, you could be on probation. You could be suspended from the institution. There are consequences, and I just want you to be aware of that. Then we have non-academic misconduct, and that's just class disruptions. It could be harassment. It could be theft issues. It could be, damage to property. It could be all kinds of things. And these things that are not necessarily course related, but it's the same concept. Need you to act civil, need you to be responsible, need you to be an adult. Whatever you do, we're adults. We don't touch each other. We don't push each other. We don't do all that. We just act responsibly. But again, there are consequences for your behavior on that could lead to probation and different things like that, which we don't want to have happen. But understand, if you do find yourself in that situation, you talk to those of us, we want to help you work through those situations, and we're going to give you resources to help redirect you and guide you as best we can. So we have resources. We don't want to get there, and so that's my goal, is to kind of set the expectations so that you understand what they are. But no, even if we have people that want to talk to you and help you. And so if you feel kind of off, make sure you're reaching out. And the last one is the Title IX, which I've already mentioned, and we have ways to do that. I've provided the student handbook link, the college catalog link. I've also provided the links where, if you need to file a grievance about any kind of issue, where that is provided, and also the link for the sexual misconduct. So all of that is provided. You don't need to worry about it. You are going to get emails and different things from the institution, because we are required by law to get all of this back out to you. So you're going to get it all again. So don't worry. It's also oftentimes in your class syllabus, but I just wanted to show it to you. So flip again, Charlotte, if you would. The big thing that I want to focus on is, we don't want all that kind of stuff. Use your resources, and it's not going to happen. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, if there's something that's going on, use your resources. Number one, student success and persistence. That's the area that I supervise. The academic studio, we have tutoring, we have childcare assistance, we have textbook lending. A new one, we have transportation assistance. Those are all, if you're in a CTE program. Through career services, we're going to help you with your resumes. We're going to help you with interviewing. We're going to do career fairs, all kinds of resources. Disability Support Services is going to give you specific information, because that's a very specific area. In just a second. Student Life is going to give you ways to get engaged, to get involved with your clubs. Residence Hall, they have support staff if you're involved in that. The number one resource, and I've already told you that, is your faculty. Talk to them if there's an issue. Get to know them. Ask them for help. CTC Police, you talk to them today. That is a resource. Our student employee and assistance program is actually free counseling for you if you are here. And they do a lot of it these days virtually, so it's not like you have to come in to do that given the COVID, but it is free for you. So if there are things that are overwhelming, use that resources. We can help direct you for that. The library, oh my gosh, people, if you are local, I want you walking in that library within the first 2 or 3 days. It is amazing what is available for you. If you are distance, I want you logging onto their website and I want you exploring everything that the library has for you. You are going to be getting an email very soon from the library and goes over all of their resources. They have a paper review service that is fabulous. So remember when I talked to you about writing a paper and using the proper citations? They will review your paper. They are experts in that and they will give you guidance. They have Ask a Librarian service. You can just send an email. You can send them a question about financial aid and they will respond to you. They have all of the professional journals. When you write a paper, you're technically not supposed to use, you're not supposed to use Wikipedia. You're not supposed to cite Wikipedia. You're not supposed to cite a Google resource. You've got to use professional journals. They are going to guide you in terms of how to access those things because we have all those resources. They do a multimedia lab, all kinds of things. It's amazing what the library has. They kind of work in concert with the academic studio, which is in my area where we do a lot of our tutoring. We will also do paper reviews, but you kind of can use the two in concert, like use the academic studio tutors if you're trying to figure out a paper concept and how to do it, but then turn the paper into the library and have them very quickly review it because it's a 24-hour turnaround time. Student services, that's the area of financial aid, veterans, advising. Use those resources, walk in those buildings, ask questions. I want to also remind you about the gym that's on the corner of our campus. Amazing in terms of an intramural program, in terms of fitness, a gym where you can work out, fitness opportunities. This is a great stress reliever. We live in a time of unbelievable stress. Use the gym and the free resources. You do have to have your ID to go over there, but use that. You're going to get emailed this resource listing, and it kind of provides all the resources that we have. We send this out to students within the first 2 weeks of campus, just so that you know about what those are. But I want you to use your resources. Okay, they are critical. Okay, so flip it over. I want you specifically to hear from Charlotte, if you can move it to Dr. Shank is also logged in, and I want her to talk just briefly about disability support services because this is for students if you need those services, and I wanted her specifically to talk to you because this is really critical information that you have. So I'm going to turn it over to Christy real quickly.
Good morning, Julie. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, great. Good morning, everyone. I just wanted to share some information about disability support services. Our campus, our office is located in building 215. We have 2 disability coordinators who are available to assist students with any questions they have. In order to qualify for our services, you do have to have a qualifying disability under the Americans with Disabilities Act. It can be a physical or mental impairment, medical conditions. If you're unsure, it would be important for you to contact us so we can let you know if it's something that we can assist you with. A major life activity has to be limited, and from the list you can see different ones that would qualify. If you need accommodations, you do have to self-identify to us and provide documentation. Required documentation has to be recent within the past 5 years. It needs to specifically list what your disability is, how your diagnosis was determined, what limitations you have in terms of academics. Accommodations are dependent upon your disability. Some of the common accommodations that we do provide are extended testing time, a separate testing area, sign language interpreters, note-taking assistance. Again, it would be best to contact us so we can work with you individually to let you know what you can qualify for. You can contact us at the phone numbers listed as well as visit our website, and I do encourage you to look at our website. We do have step-by-step instructions on how to apply for our services and specific documentation requirements, and I will put in the information, the contact information into the chat once I'm done here in a moment. Does anybody have any specific questions right now that they would like addressed? I don't see anything in chat right now, so I will go ahead and put our contact information and I will turn it back over to Dean Starkey.
Thank you, Dr. Shank.
Okay, thank
Julie,
you.
you're muted.
There you go. She's back.
I'm sorry.
There you
And
are.
this is just Dr. Shank's information. She's a great resource because she'll answer questions for you about DSS, but also SSP, about the campus. I will. That is my contact information. Guys, as I said in my intro presentation, use your resources on day one because that's what's going to keep you straight and going and moving ahead. And so that's what the whole point of this presentation was, to set the expectations, but then to give you the resources that are going to help and support you. Please reach out to me. That's what I'm here for. I am your advocate. Reach out to me. Thanks, guys.
Thank you,
Great stuff.
Julie,
Thank you.
and Dr. Shank. Okay, students, so this morning you have heard a lot of information and you've heard from several different areas. But next, where we are in our presentation, and again, if you still continue to have questions, please put them in the chat. But the next few slides that I want to share with you, what would a campus be without a welcome back celebration? So we have that designed for you as well. So this next slide, you can see our Welcome Week celebration, and it's a week of things that we have prepared for the students to celebrate you and further introduce you to other areas on the campus. So the first thing I want to talk to you about is our Welcome Back Bash. So our Welcome Back Bash is going to be held on January the 20th, and it's going to be in the Anderson Campus Center. That's the center of the campus. The building is building 224, upstairs on the second floor. So when you come to this celebration and you see our theme is Yo Ho Ho and a Semester of Success. So this is going to be a pirate theme. So for all of you pirateers, if you want to come dressed as a pirate, we would welcome that and we would love to see you. But at this fair, and it's going to be set up, like I said, upstairs. So you're going to receive further information and further campus resources, and just be able to connect and see a lot of different departments represented at this Welcome Back celebration. And you can also explore student clubs and organizations. We will also have games and lots of fun. So again, that's Thursday, January the 20th for our Welcome Back celebration. Then following that week, we have what's called our Success Week. So during our Success Week, you've heard us talk a lot about career clusters and where you can get information from your specific department. So whatever you are here to study, we have a career cluster set up for you. So if you take a look at the schedule, the week of January 24th, we have all of our clusters beginning. So on January 24th, we have the construction, manufacturing, and transportation degree plans. Okay, so under that, let me get to that and I can tell you exactly which areas we're going to feature. Okay, but again, that's January 24th from 10 a.m. to 11. And again, it'll be set up just like we're doing this virtually, so you'll be able to sign in and ask questions of those departments.
Hey, Charlotte, I found those. If
Okay,
this
thank you.
construction, manufacturing, transportation, that involves our aviation science department. So if you're interested in flying, automotive technology, computer aided drafting and design, our building trades or construction trades, diesel technology, HVAC, which is heating, ventilation, and air conditioning and refrigeration. Also our truck driving, which is offered through continuing education, and our welding program. Those are all going to be covered under this first cluster.
Thank you. Okay, then our next cluster, also on January 24th, is our business and business technology, which will be from 3 to 4. And those cover our degree plans, such as accounting, all of our business degree plans, the computing architecture, culinary arts and hospitality, our cybersecurity, information technology, logistics and supply chain management, network systems administration, office technology, that's a large group as well, project management, and real estate. So those are all areas that will be covered in the business and business technology cluster. Healthcare. The healthcare cluster will be January 26th, again from 3 to 4 p.m. Under the healthcare, you can see the various degree plans that we offer under the healthcare. Certified nurse aide, clinical medical assistant, the EMTs and paramedics, the fitness and wellness, histology, massage therapy, medical lab technology, also our mental health services and medical office technology, nursing, pharmacy technician, phlebotomy, and our vet assistants. Those will all be covered under the healthcare career cluster. Our STEM, our science areas will cover agricultural science, electronics, engineering, industrial control and robotics, mathematics, programming and software development, and also our science degree plans. This cluster will be January 27th from 3 to 4. Arts and humanities, January 25th from 3 to 4 p.m. Communications, drama, our graphics and printing, journalism, and our modern languages, also music, social science, and visual arts.
And for those of you interested in arts, just so you know, if you are a musician of any sort, if you like to sing, if you play a musical instrument, CTC does have a choir and a band that perform. So if you are interested in being a performer, check those out and contact the Fine Arts Department and share your skills with those people because they are always looking for new voices and new musicians.
Absolutely. Our public service career cluster, we heard from one of our officers, one of our police officers earlier. That cluster is going to actually be on January 26th from 1 to 2 p.m. And under this cluster, we have our child development, criminal justice, our fire service administration, homeland security, and emergency management. Kinesiology will also be featured, our paralegals, the police academy. This is that construction, manufacturing, and transportation that I mentioned earlier. Okay, again, later on this presentation, this new student orientation, you'll be able to log in on Facebook Live. Was it, Bruce? Is that where?
CTC Live.
At CTC Live, where you'll be able to follow this new student orientation.
Yeah, this will be on YouTube later on today. So you can just go to Central Texas College YouTube and you will see new student orientation. So
Yes, absolutely. So I hope during this morning that you've heard something that will be useful for you as you begin your education journey. And we welcome you. We're so thankful to have you as our new students for our spring 2022.
we have a couple other questions, Charlotte, real quick that we haven't touched on yet. One of those about housing. When do we apply for housing and what about eligibility for housing?
The housing application is open right now. You can get to it by going to the housing, the website. If you'll search that, maybe somebody can put it in the chat for me real quick, but the application for housing is there. And we are starting to move students into housing starting tomorrow. Those that have been approved and have gotten all of the payments in and all of that, they will start moving in as early as tomorrow. You do have to have a scheduled move-in time because of some of our COVID protocols. So you do have to have a scheduled move-in time. You do have to be a full-time student though to live on campus. And that means you have to be enrolled in at least 12 hours. And the housing director, who is Victoria McGee, will work with you and work you through all of those expectations in terms of how it works. Right now, students are living single because of some of the COVID protocols. And then you, if you do that, you then also, your meal plan is over in Anderson. Our meal plan is, though, just so that you're aware, Monday through Friday. We do not offer weekend meals, but there's a lot of great stuff that happens, and I do encourage you to check that out. Certainly if you have a specific question, if you'll send it to me, I can get you linked with Victoria McGee, who's our director of housing, but I can put her information in the chat as well.
Thank you. Another
Thank
question
you.
that came up, and I'm not sure if this is even possible. Someone said that they have a student ID card right now and they're enrolled for the fall semester, and do they have to wait for August to get their student ID card? I don't know that fall semester registration is even open yet. So I don't know how they would already be registered for fall. So,
No, yeah, fall
No.
registration does not open yet. Fall
okay.
fall 2022 registration is not open
Right.
yet.
So if
there's
you're
no way
not
there's no way to register for that at this point.
right, and if you're if your question meant you're not going to take classes to fall, then yes, you have to wait until you register at the fall semester to get your student ID card. You cannot get your student ID card now if you're not going to take classes until fall. So wait until you register for the fall semester, and then you can get your student ID card.
Yes.
All right, let me make sure. We did. I think somebody answered the question about they on their schedule that shows them the like T-Cent 0257 room 1082. They don't know where their building or their class is. So I'm just wondering if there's somewhere that they can find that information. I think Morgan.
I already answered it.
Okay, thank you.
I can also tell you, as part of our Welcome Week activities, if you are on Central Campus Tuesday and Wednesday, you can stop by several locations, and we are passing out campus maps. And we will direct you to your location. You can come to the academic studio, you can come to Student Life, you can go to the library, you can go to Career Services. I think Financial Aid will have some maps. The housing office will have some maps. So stop by any of those locations. We will help you print out your class schedule. We will help point you in the right direction. We will give you a map. We will help you. All of those locations you stop by, and we're going to help get you where you need to be.
Right. And that was the last question that I saw.
Okay,
Don't
awesome.
worry, Angelisa, you won't be lost. You'll be fine.
Yes, and I see a number of students have said they are excited to be here, excited to get started, and we are excited to have you. So welcome.
And just let me remind everyone to please, when marketing sends you student newsletters or student alerts to your Eagle Mail, please open those and read those, because those are for your benefit. Those are emails we send you to tell you what's going on around campus. Those are emails so we can keep you up to date on any changes or any events or anything that you might need to know. So please pay heed to those emails when you get those and read those, and so you can always stay abreast. Also, you can follow us on social media. Our Facebook and Twitter are very active in posting our events and any thing that you need to know or anything that might come up that might be relevant to you as a student. Always check our social media outlets as well. And you can always refer to YouTube for any videos that, like, for example, this one, if you need to review any material, this one will be available on YouTube. Our CTC live sessions, which usually feature a different academic department or veteran services or even financial aid specific sessions, then those will all be available through YouTube on CTC Live. So we have numerous resources for you to kind of review and stay up to par and stay up to date with things that are going on. So please, we encourage you to take advantage of those.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Awesome. Thank you, Bruce. Well, if we don't have any other further questions, this concludes our new student orientation. Students, again, we welcome you, and we want to wish you a great semester. So again, if you have any further questions, please see the links that have been provided, and we'll see you on the CTC Live.
We're going to stick around, so if people have a question, ask it, but certainly feel free to log out if you're done. That's fine, but a couple of us will stick around if you need to talk to us and you need to ask us a question. We're going to stick around for that. But you're free to log out and get on with your life, but we will be here for you.
You're very welcome, Erica. And the next question that popped in, how long does it take to get a response from someone from the paramedic department? Again, that's kind of subjective. Usually they're very quick to answer the phone and get back with you. Ryan Baker is the director over the paramedic department, and I believe we had their phone number in the chat earlier, but I will see if I can't find that again, and I will put it out there for you. So you,
just so that you know, a lot of our academic departments are they're out a little bit, but they will be full steam ahead as of Tuesday. So definitely you will hear back on Tuesday because that's the first day of classes. But I would send an email and reach out in multiple ways, and you will hear something back. But like I said, we can't give you a specific exactly in terms of when you'll hear back.
Right.
But if it's an advising question, I would go ahead and just reach out, send an email maybe to one of the advising emails that we shared with you.
Absolutely. And then again, through that career cluster, you will have the opportunity to ask some general questions, and then maybe you'll have the opportunity to link up with someone specifically.
There's the web address link for the paramedicine department for the EMT folks. And let's see if I can find you a phone number so you can contact them directly. For advising, you would need to contact Julie Jordan over there.
Yeah, this is a lot of niggas.
I guess we both don't need to have it. We could just put it here.
Yeah. Oh. What?
There's Julie Jordan. She is the advisor for EMT program. So if you need her contact number, there she goes.
So
Sir, I hate to interrupt, sir.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
I'm trying to figure out how do I type a question, or if I can just interject a question. I came in kind of late.
Yeah, just jump right in.
So I'm one of the old guys in the Army at the end of my career, and I just registered for classes. I have no idea how to get my books or any of that stuff. I didn't know if this covered that, or if I need to speak to my teacher specifically.
Yeah, you jumped in a little bit late, but yeah, the bookstore has all of that, and they will, and I'll let Julie and Charlotte, they're the experts.
To register for, I mean, have you been admitted?
I've been admitted and registered for my class. Yes, ma'am.
So you have a class schedule.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you've paid for your classes and all of that.
From my understanding, through Army Ignited and all the things that happen on that realm. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we you know, you can always send an email and check and make sure everything is okay. So if you have a class schedule and you have paid, then you are completely ready. Classes start on Tuesday, so you just need to look at your class schedule, and depending on if it is online or if it's face-to-face, or depending on whatever modality it's being taught, that's where you make sure you attend either next week, because all those classes will start. For your textbooks, you can go, we had a link for instructional materials in the chat, and you can go through that and it'll tell you what books you need. You can also
that's what I'm confused on. Where is that chat, ma'am? Where is that?
It's on the side. Can you see on the very side of the presentation well, you have to, at the very bottom, do you see a chat button that you can hit, and then you'll see the chat? And we can put the link for it too. From the front page of the website, if you search instructional course materials, you are going to get directed to that link. You can also go to our bookstore, take your class schedule, and they will begin to tell you what that is. If you log into your Blackboard account, which if you've already registered for classes, normally you get access to Blackboard Friday midday. When you log into your account, also all of the course materials that you're going to be expected to have is noted there, because you are not required to go through our bookstore to get that. So you can get the name of your textbooks and what it is, and you can search Amazon or wherever you want to go and also look for all of that.
Okay. Well, I definitely
there's a lot of ways you can get to it. If you get lost, reach out to us in Student Success. Our email, you can either do success@ctcd.edu or ssuccess, and or call us at 25, what is our
254.
Thank you, 254-1450, and we'll help direct you and get you in the right location.
I did not get the last part of that number, ma'am, because I'm definitely gonna give y'all a call.
254-526-1450.
Yeah, and they're also 1226 to set up a meeting with an advisor.
And that was 1450.
Yeah,
correct.
Okay, I will definitely be giving y'all a call here in a minute.
Okay, not a problem.
All right, thanks a lot.
Sure.
We had another question.
Yeah, I want to be a forensic psychologist, but don't know which major or degree I need. I'm currently enrolled in general studies.
I think the forensic psychologist, well, that can go a couple of different directions. You can look at the criminal justice route, which is under public service. I think you can also look at, I think that's where I would start you with. I mean, gosh, it can go so many
Julian,
different
I
ways.
can answer that question.
Okay.
If you're wanting to further your education and go into forensic psychology, you can meet with one of the advisors. Say that you know you want to transfer to Texas A&M. The beauty in meeting with an advisor, they can help you pull up that degree plan from that particular school and kind of show you what you're going to need to transfer in and what a transfer degree is going to actually look like.
So
Does
you,
that kind of answer your question?
yeah, academic advising, an advisor would be your best bet to start to show you what you need here and that what will transfer to a four-year school and what that four-year school will require. Charlotte's exactly right. But Julie's also right. So if you want to start in criminal justice, if you want to explore those options, that would be a good place to start here on our campus under protective services. You can just pull up the criminal justice degree plan, and that might be a good first step for you as well.
I think we said, when will this presentation be posted? And I'm assuming later in the day.
Later today on YouTube. Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
Mhm. And it's just the Central Texas College New Student Orientation, and you'll be able to find
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. And the next registration, if we're talking about semester registration, it'll be the summer registration. And I believe that's going to open in April or end of March. I'm not sure the
Yeah.
date yet, but
Well, we actually have we have several actually mini term within this long one that's coming up. And so if you're looking for some other opportunities to maybe start a class in a month or, within a month, we do have some opportunities, whether it be online, and it's not going to be here at our central campus in a 16-week class, but there are some other options before we get to the summer, just so that you're aware.
now, once you've registered and you've been admitted, then you can just go into Eagle Self-Service and register when the registration period opens for a particular class or a particular semester, whether it's the 10-week or the 16-week, or let's say, for example, the summer semester. Whenever the summer semester opens, once you've been admitted, you've already taken classes here through the spring, then you can go right into Eagle Self-Service and register.
Mhm.
You don't have to
The
go through
question
that.
is, do we register overall or just for the classes for the next semester? You register for classes per semester. You don't register for your entire degree plan up front. You don't
Right.
do that. So every semester you register for a new set of classes, and you that's why it's very important that you have your degree plan and that you understand the class rotations, when classes are offered. If one class is a prereq for another class, you need to understand that. That's the reason why academic advising is so important, and you should go through academic advising every semester, because they're going to keep you on track and they're going to advise you in terms of what should be your next set of classes that you take. But you
Correct.
only register for one semester at a time.
Yeah, let me show you exactly what she's talking about here briefly. I'm going to share my screen, and okay, this is what the criminal justice. We had a question about psychology, criminal justice. So this is what it looks like. You're recommended for your first semester or your first year. You'll register for these classes
Mhm.
only. Then next semester, let's say in the summer, if it happens to be that way, then you will register for these types of classes. And then the following semester, you register for these classes. So you won't do it all at one time. You'll just go per semester by what's available there. So.
And then by meeting with an advisor, the advisor can tell you um, if you're not going to school full time. So say you want to go part time and you're not sure like what classes go together. Sometimes if you meet with the academic advisor, they can share with you what classes you can take together. So say you go to register and a class is not available from that list and you have to go to a different semester. And so you're kind of not sure what order. That's the beauty in meeting with an academic advisor so that they can share that information with you.
Yeah, that's exactly, especially if you're like in the engineering program and you want to transfer to like Texas A&M Central Texas. Now, when you get to that point at Texas A&M Central Texas, they're going to have you take other courses that we might not have put in our degree plan to get the associate degree here. So our advisor will advise you in association with A&M Central Texas on what classes you need here, so you won't have to resort back or fall back. You can go as smoothly into that next transition. So it is always best to talk to an advisor to make sure that you are on point with what's expected if you plan to transfer to a four-year university. At least maybe not within the hour, but later today, later this afternoon. So we're not exactly sure because we have to go through a whole streaming and feeding process and blah, blah, blah. And it takes a while for that to happen. So it may not be within the hour. It may be later this afternoon, but it will definitely be on YouTube.
Okay. Are there other questions out there that we need to answer? Because like I said, if you've gotten all your questions answered, there's no reason for you to stay, logged in. We're done. We're just answering questions at this point. Just kind of hanging on to see if somebody has something that might be of interest to you. We understand that too.
Somebody wants to know where can they find the prices for the courses as they are paying out of pocket.
When you register for a class, you can then log through self-service, Eagle self-service, and you can then see the bill and it'll tell you exactly how much the that particular course costs. There are some variations. You can look on our website and we'll give you some. But again, there are going to be some differences. So it's going to really depend on what you register for. So the best way is when you register and then you flip back over and you go check your bill and it'll tell you exactly how much that is.
Yeah, she's in paramedics, so there'll be maybe some other costs as far as shirts to go that you have to buy at the bookstore and things like that, and maybe some other equipment like stethoscope and those kind of things. So, but as far as your course goes, your cost for that actual course, Julie's right, just check with your Eagle self-service. Same thing with aviation. If you're an aviation student, there may be some other costs associated as far as flight hours and those kind of things. So keep that in mind.
Are there any other questions out there?
Yeah, here's one right here. I do have some credits from overseas and all transcripts. So do I need to retake class for those courses that I already validated?
I would not recommend retaking a class right now. What I would recommend that you do is you get that paperwork in and then work with an advisor, because they're going to work with, all of that's going to be evaluated by our transcripts area, and the advisor can advise you if you need to retake something, if we're going to accept something, what needs to happen, all of that. And so I would give myself time to get that in and to meet with advising. As opposed to just going off and there's not one set answer for that, unfortunately, because we need to look at the information that you're submitting and then advise you on that.
Okay, I see a question. Does CTC work with military personnel stationed on Fort Hood attending CTC full-time as far as if we have medical appointments and can make it to class? Yes, we do. We do work with our military community, but we do ask that you communicate any appointments or any time that you have to be out with your instructor. But say you have a situation going on where you're going to be in the field and you need to be dismissed or be dropped from the class, we do offer assistance with that as well.
Yeah, just
Does that answer is that the question you were asking?
Yeah, your best bet is to talk with your instructor if you have to be out for, like she said, go into the field for a few days or for a week or that kind of thing, and work with your instructor so make sure that you stay on top of your assignments and any classwork.
Now, one of the issues also that you brought up was medical appointments. We really ask you not to schedule medical appointments during your class schedule. If you have a physical face-to-face class at a specific time, we strongly encourage you to try to make that class at all times and try to make your appointments, regardless of what they are, around that. It is at the faculty member's discretion in terms of what's going to happen with that class. So please understand your attendance and participation in those classes are important. The faculty are going to try to work with you as much as possible, but we encourage you to try to schedule around that as much as possible, if possible. Okay.
Yep. And I'm looking for the next question. I'm trying to find, let me get back to the start so I can get you the contact information for nursing, and we'll
Yeah,
get
it
you
was
squared away.
listed, an email office, the email was listed.
Okay.
Is there anything we need to provide if you are a spouse of an active duty member for aid in pricing classes? Honestly, what I recommend to all students who are military or spouses or anything that you work through our vet success to start with, because they're going to give you an overview of what kind of benefits you might be entitled to, how this process would work. And then from there, then you can go to our veterans benefits area, who will then apply those to your account and how it's going to work. Every person's situation is different. Whether you're active duty, whether you're a veteran, whether you're a spouse, whether you're a dependent, every situation is different. And so you really need to work with them and explain, let them look at it and advise you. Okay. Will the instructors let us know if we need a textbook for a class? That's going to be noted in your class syllabus. And I know Dr. Reese, when she was showing you the presentation for Blackboard, we showed you how you can access your syllabus. And one of the places is one of the tabs is going to be course materials that are required, and it will provide you if you know what that is and how you access that and all of that information. But you can also go through our instructional, we have an instructional materials listing that you can go through our website. And if you happen to be here on campus, you can also talk to our bookstore.
VA building, I believe is it, I'm not gonna lie to you.
If Christy Shank is on it, she can tell because she's in the same building with them, but I think she might
Yeah,
have
I
logged
think it's
out.
215. It's building
Okay.
215.
Yeah.
I'm still here, Julie. The VA is located in building 215, the same building we are located in.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. That was my guess, but I didn't want to lie.
Yeah, I was searching for the building number.
If you want to call them, I can give you the number. That's our vet services number.
Very good. Okay, so anybody else logged in have a question? No? Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I think we're good I think we've answered everything. I don't think there's anything left outstanding in the chat at this point. We've been here. Guys, if there is something else, I think your best bet at this point is to send an email to success@ctcd.edu or the student.life@ctcd.edu, and we will answer those questions. Those are a lot of us that are on this, and just say you were in orientation and we didn't answer this and I need more direction, and we will certainly reach out and help you with all of that. So I think that's the best bet at this point. And I think we thank you for being here, but I think we've answered everything at this point. All right.
I think so.
All right, everybody.
Thank you all. We look forward to having you as Eagles.
Thank you.
Take care.